X Toycat, and welcome back to semi-hardcore Superflat Survival. This is a world that I have been playing now for 31 days to be precise. We're in part 4 of the series, and I've gone from having literally nothing on a flat world to wearing gold, partially enchanted armor, and to being at the point where I'm one decent wandering trader or one terrible creeper explosion away from success or failure. I swear, there was a creeper in this hole last I looked, but I think I must have imagined that. Anyway, I'm starting on building a perimeter that will represent the edges of these builds, and I've done that last time, and I'm actually going to be working on the start of a mob grinder today, because I think that I'm going to need one eventually, and having water this early actually means that I can use the water to help me in my plans. Anyway, so I've got my hay bales ready for when I want to trade with, well, I've got the wheat ready for them. Let's make it into hay bales. I've got my hay bales ready so that when I want to, I can buy some emeralds. I've got a bucket ready. I've even got, weirdly enough, these glass bottles, which I can use to make some mud. It's going to be a fun one today. It's going to be a very crazy one. And yes, I made this thumbnail myself. How can you tell, chat? Anyway, hello. Let's get right into this. So the first thing I want to do, now that I've activated my lightning rod, is I want to make clear that my big and ambitious goal is to get as many pigs in here, because at some point lightning is going to strike, and if I have 10 pigs, I'm going to end up with 10 zombie piglins, which will give me like 1 gold nugget. I need at least 80 pigs in here, but I want to have 160 so that when lightning strikes, I can turn this into 2 golden apples. If I get 2 villagers, I can start breeding them and very good things will happen. So I need 160 pigs as my first long-term ambition. And so a lot of things that I'm going to do today are kind of going to be in service of that. But at the exact same time, I also have some small things that I need to work on. I need to destroy a bunch of this area anyway, and I figured why not take advantage of my brand new glass bottles. I got this from a witch, and the weird combination of having bottles plus this is I can actually turn any dirt blocks, weirdly not grass blocks, but I can turn dirt into mud. Then I can break the mud, and look at this. New block just unlocked. If I'm not mistaken, I can turn the mud into mud bricks and stuff later, or does that have to be smelted out? Look, what we're going to do is we're going to make ourselves a lot of mud today, using the bottle to allow us to do some fun things here, and then we're going to see what we can do with mud. I feel like it is mud bricks with 4, right? Now you make packed mud, although you need wheat for packed mud. That's pretty pricey. And so yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to use our brand new mud blocks, and also we're going to drag any pigs that we find around here. Because, you know, I'm going to be honest with you, Mr. Pig here, I need so many of you that I'm totally willing to just pick you up on a lead and take you with me. Or I could just get, I could do my mud stuff first, and then when I need to, I could get rid of them then. So yeah, I'm going to make a bunch of mud on purpose. I'm going to very deliberately just turn this whole chunk into it, because mud takes about the same time to break as dirt. But it is a unique block for me to just have. Anyway, have the packed mud, then mud bricks. So I'm going to need a lot of wheat if I want to make mud bricks, but it might be a really cool way to make a farm be more unique. I think I do definitely... There's a little bit of dirt fatigue, right? When you play on a super flat world, dirt is how we're going to be building most things most of the time. So if we're building something important, like, say, a house, maybe building it out of mud is a decent idea. Or mud bricks, even. Build it out of something with a little, you know, like, uniqueness to it. A little flair. Might go quite well for us. So yeah, let's break the mud. Then let's break the grass. Although if we break the grass, we then have to struggle with what to do with all this water. But yeah, look at that. We now have 12 mud, which could turn into 12 packed mud if we wanted to be crazy with it. Also, hi Toget, how is it being? How is it always being so yes? You know, I'm glad you're asking the important questions right here. The questions that no one else are brave enough to ask. Speaking of brave enough to ask, thank you for the tip. Appreciate it. Godzilla154 says, Toycat, you should try and get a saddle. Once you have one, you could. Yeah, if I could get a saddle, I can ride a pig around. But honestly, if I get a saddle, I might as well have a horse. There isn't much need for transport in this world, if we're being brutally honest with ourselves. But at the same time, I do still want it. You know, maybe that's silly of me to want it still, but that is exactly what I want. So we're gonna just use this as quickly as we can, and then we're gonna break it, and it's gonna go nicely. So yeah, good to see you, everyone. How is your Monday going? I'm having a bit of a messy one. I had to make like a last minute call. Like, do I do a nice long stream or do I do a let's play? And I decided, you know what, I'm really feeling the thing right here. But I'm like the most indecisive person in the world on certain things, right? I think it's really easy to be decisive about things that you know, but when you get like there are some things. It's like a trait I've picked up at some point in my old age. But like there are some things where I'm just like I will never be able to decide on this. As a kid, I remember like when I was given 5p to buy sweets from the store, I'd be like, I could buy this or I could buy that, but I can never buy both. The opportunity cost is oh so real to me. And I don't know how the world doesn't freak out about the very same concept. Like, also, let's grab that pig and let's put him into our pen. These are 2 of the 160 pigs we need, which isn't that many, but, you know, it's better than not having them, right? So bring these with us on a little journey. Also, on Cinco de Mayo, see. Oh, yeah, it's Cinco de Mayo if you celebrate. Does anyone celebrate? Honestly, I'm endlessly fascinated by regional holidays that have become famous because of America. Like, I think America is like king of like helping cultures like rediscover their own holidays in a weird way. That way, you know, it's an offensive take, but I'm sticking with it. Also, that thumbnail when we click, it's the cutest thing ever. Hey, I'm glad to hear. You know, clearly a very good idea. So we're just gonna knock both these guys in there, and then as soon as more carrots grow, we can use them to get more. Or should I use my carrots when they grow to get more carrots? I guess if I'm thinking about my goal logically, if I need 180 pigs, or 90. 90 would be something, but like, not much. The difference between having 20 pigs and 25 pigs is very little. So I should put all my efforts into growing more carrots. Yeah, it just makes sense. Also, our Vibrant Visuals coming tomorrow, says Emerald X392. So yeah, there is an update coming out for Minecraft, most likely tomorrow. At least we've been, you know, we've been making a lot of plans around that, and so have Mojang. But as to, you know, the pressing question you're asking. Also, thank you, Godzilla. Are you aware of the infinite pig saddle glitch, where if you kill a pig with saddle, it drops 2 instead of 1? Oh, that's what you were saying, infinite saddles. No, I did not know. I thought you were like, yeah, you would never need another saddle again if you had a saddle pig. And I was like, that's an opinion that anyone is allowed to have. You know, I respect people's right to say things, even when those things seem like heresy to me, you know? And, yeah, from that perspective, I say that's a fun bug. I don't know how much you can do with it, but I like that it exists. So, chat, we wait for a few skeletons to spawn, and then we go to sleep. That's kind of our nighttime routine. You know, you gotta have a nighttime routine. In this case, though, I'm actually going to... Okay, we got a zombie... We could drown the zombie for his chain armor. Oh, there's a lot of zombies now. I'm gonna go get that zombie of the shovel. I'm gonna kill him in the morning. That is my plan. So I'm gonna quickly change my controller batteries. Gonna... throw these on the ground. Pick these 2 up. And then we're actually going to go run towards the zombie of the shovel, because I think I might need to punch him for him to drop it. Except apparently he doesn't care. He's got a full armor set anyway. So yeah, we're going to pick up some extra rotten flesh, which I could really do with right now. I'm running very, very dangerously low on food. I've got wheat growing, and like I'll eventually have bread. But for now, knowing that I can solve that is very, very useful. And we might have to go on like a little killing spree today, specifically looking for farmyard animals. Yeah, I think that is what we're going to have to do. Because the more pigs that we farm, the less we're going to find of everything else. Please give me a shovel. I would love a shovel. Okay. Leather hat. Thank you very much. So yeah, we're going to go on a killing spree today, specifically trying to get away from our base, because we are just fully out of non-raw flesh food. There isn't this one little raw mutton. And so I think we should kill some cows, and we should kill some sheep. Sheep are a little bit more valuable than cows, because they give you wool. Right now, wool can be used for carpet, which is moth-proofing, and also kind of looks pretty nice, right? So that'd be nice. I think you should grow more carrots until you get a lightning rod. Yeah, exactly. Wait, I already have a lightning rod, Ivy. But since I have the lightning rod, that's why I'm like, But until... Also, that's just a wandering trader guy. I'm not going to worry about him too much. I think because I have the lightning rod, that's why I'm having to think to myself, like, if lightning struck today, I'd be bummed out I didn't have 1 more zombie piglin. But actually, I wouldn't be. 1 gold ingot is worth just as much as 2 gold ingots. literally until you get 10 gold ingots, they're worth equally nothing. Which is what I've just got to remind myself. Like, this is all worth nothing until it's worth something. But yeah, we're desperate for a wandering trader right now, chat. I really can't stress enough how, like, bare bones my Minecraft life has become as a result. I only have 19 wood that I can use, so I could make a chest, but even then, not really. So I've been storing, I've had to work out, I've had to, like, really prioritize. I'm a Minecraft hoarder. I love just having everything everywhere all the time. And look at how restricted I've had to be in this chest. But yeah, I'll take a stack of leather, throw it in there. I have to start working out what to do with all these bows, you know, now too. I need more chest space. I need, honestly, apples. A lot of this world is reliant on me finding a wandering trader. And so as I work on my, as I work on all my fun things today, that is the big goal that will keep me moving. Also, stop playing Drown It. Oh, do you think it would definitely drop the shovel if I drowned it? I think you might be right on that, Andrew Conway. I think you might actually have had a very good point there. So I'm going to eat this, and then I'm going to kill both of these sheep. Oh, all 4 of these sheep. Even better. And we could go, like, looking out in the middle of the nowhere for more pigs. You know, if they spawn in a big bunch, we can get 4. But I think it's more worthwhile staying near the carrots. Yeah, I think that is what we want to do more. Stay near the carrots. Stay near the happiness. In the meantime, I will pick up some, you know, like some lovely sheep. Very, very handy. It's, I think this is probably the last time we'll even have to do this, because we're growing wheat now at such a rapid pace that it might not be necessary. So you're on a rampant killing spree. Yeah, when you're on Superflat, there's not a lot of food choices, okay? You gotta make some rough ones here and there. And these are the decisions I've decided to make. So let's grab this pig, and let's just bring him this way. I'll just keep him really close by as I do some destruction of this chunk. This chunk slowly needs to go, and so I'll leave the pig here and hope that more spawn while I do this. So eat some raw mutton and destroy this chunk just a little bit further in. Like, really guarantee that no slimes get to me from this. And, you know, to be able to do that, all I have to do is bring some water with me. There's already a source right there. And then use that source to make some mud. Because there's something oddly satisfying about this to me. Like, making a brand new block and just being able to instantly use it for stuff. Also, it's been a while since I've been able to catch a stream. Good to be back. Oh, I've got so much more chat that I haven't seen just now because my chat window's too tall. Yeah, for my testing, it's a 100% drop rate. Also, we'll make your classic house, but out of dirt. We could make it out of mud bricks, right? I think that'd be more satisfying than dirt. I think that dirt has a certain appeal on a world like this, where obviously, you know, it's the block that my world is made out of. But yeah. So yeah, chat, there's a new update likely coming out tomorrow that has custom Superflat. So if you are a Superflat person, tomorrow is the day for it, right? Tomorrow is for Superflat players on Bedrock. Tomorrow is our big update. You know, obviously if you have Ultra Flat Survival, you're able to like enjoy a lot more benefits. It's still not fully customizable. I want them to make my map obsolete. I want to feel like, oh, there's no reason for you to purchase Ultra Flat anymore because it's all in base game survival Minecraft. That's what I desperately want. We're not there yet, but we have seen, you know, little hints that maybe they're on the way to adding it, which I think is good. So let's now lead 2 more pigs over here. We'll check up if there's any carrots or anything like that grown over here. And if there's not, then, you know, we could do this just 80 times, and we'd get to 160 pigs that way. And that would be a valid way of doing it, right? So, something to think about, at least. But yeah, just in the hole. You must go. You're being very annoying about it, but that's okay. So yeah, where in this world should my house go, chat? If I'm slowly working on the build out with my 41 mud, I'll need at least 132. No wait, I need at least I need like 4 stacks, or no, I need 8 stacks of mud bricks, which means I need 8 stacks of mud. I could confirm the way the crafting recipe works by like just getting some wheat. But is it really irresponsible while I'm eating raw meat and basically starving to spend more time getting this? I think there's a real argument that it is quite irresponsible, at least. I need another hoe. I do not have another hoe. Also, there we go. Plant that. So yeah, I've got 9 wheat, which I could use to make a hay bale right now. Or I could use it to make packed mud. And I just want to know, how do you make a mud brick? I can make muddy mangrove roots. Okay, mud bricks. Who ever uses muddy mangrove bricks? So mud bricks are not in here. Oh, it's because they're not craftable. So mud bricks. Mud. So you take 4 packed mud and you get 4 mud bricks. So it is basically 1 wheat plus 1 mud equals 1 mud brick. So we need 4 stacks of both. And then maybe 8 stacks of both if we're being real. But 4 stacks of both would allow me to build a facade. And then I need enough wood to make a roof out of. I don't have the wood for the roof. Or at least I need something that could make stairs out of it. I guess I could use dirt for the house and mud bricks for the roof, I guess. But anyway, here are 2 more pigs. And you know what? I'll pick him up and I'll drag him. Chat, this is a valid way for me to spend my days. It works, right? It technically works. I'm not in love with how it's going, but all my crops are growing, and the crops are the things that are really going to make the difference here. So yeah, let's just go for it. In fact, let's even bone meal some of these carrots. I think we need more carrots growing right now. And so as I lead 2 more pigs in, I think the more productive way I could spend my time is probably... Okay, you are running way too far this way. I do think it is a more productive way for me to spend my time in bone milling carrots, or at least, you know, if I'm going to be wasting anyway, I need to make sure that this is on the up and up. So I'll put a lot of bone meal into this right now. Just really a ton of bone meal. And just, so we want to use the bare minimum ones here. And if we had a fortune tool, that'd be nice. If we could get one of those, that would be really chill. We can't get one of those, and so instead, we just say, this is something, right? Let's, you know, I got more carrots than I had before, double as many, I might say. Except actually, no, I want this whole patch to be filled with carrots. I want to look at the thing and go, yeah, I've got plenty of carrots. I could feed a rabbit here for all that's happening. Also, I need to make sure that those slimes don't do that. I don't know how he got there. I don't know if he spawned there and there's a slime chunk that I missed. But I really don't want that to be a thing. Which is why I'm going to put even more effort into... Oh, another pig. The game is just taunting me on this one, chat. It's like every time I come here, they're like, you know, you could also just have a pig right now. And if you just give up on what you're doing right now, you could have a whole pig. I think they never despawn after feeding them at least once ever. Why is moving house so stressful, says Cat Beanie? Oh, you're having to move now, are you? I remember that was a far off risk at one point. Yeah, no, I think moving house is like one of the most stressful things humans can do. I thought about this. I think I mentioned this somewhat recently, but it's the idea of lifestyle creep is one that most people don't really get in most parts of your life. You know, like when life gets better, so what does it matter? But I did see a clip that like kind of backed this up, and I heard someone describe it in a way I hadn't heard it before. And it's this idea that, you know, if you get a really nice house, right? You know, like a house that costs $1 million, the best apartment ever. You've got you know, wine fridges and pool tables, and you've got all this incredible stuff. When you first move into that house, you're gonna be like, man, I have made it. My life is good. Everything is incredible, and you're gonna think to yourself, this is so worth, you know, the money. It's so worth the effort, the time, etc. But after you spend like enough time in a place, I think the you know, there's like a, I don't know how to best describe this, like rose tinted goggles, I guess you could say, that we all have. You know, I think those you know, that like, oh my god, this is amazing effect. I think it always eventually goes for any purchase. But for homes in particular, even when you get this most incredible place, after you've been there for enough months, you're eventually just going to get home after a long day and be like, I am home. And it doesn't matter how nice or rough your home is. As long as your home is good enough, right? You're going to be like, yeah, I am home now. Also, it's so hard to become a country citizen from the US to anywhere in the EU. So easy to go from EU country to EU country. Yeah, going from EU country to EU country is like going from state to state, though. Like, there's no, you're not allowed to ask people not to, you know? Like, it's a, it's a key part of the, requirement of being a member off the union. Anyway, though, yeah, I think I want to destroy more blocks. I think this chunk is very satisfying to me. And even I kind of want to do the planning on my big grand future with the mob farm because I've got the water for it. But I think that this chunk being here, I just want to have at least one full stack of mud prepared. And then I want to have some more dirt so I can build that border. I think those are my first two priorities. I've got 44 mud, I've got 30 dirt. That means I need to make at least 20 more blocks, or exactly 20 more blocks. So let's go do that right now. Oh no, what did I just do? Okay. So let's make these into mud, including, you know, these blocks here. Why not? And that should be very, very close to 20. If it's not 20, it'll be close enough by the time we're done with this. So Kat, can you fake me up a job to get a work visa? Oh, you're looking into moving into the EU? I feel like if you're living off-grid, you know, with 14 children and a hole in your back garden that you fill up with water as a pool, I feel like you might be the prime example of like someone who benefits from living in the US, right? Or maybe not. I feel like you need a big country of lots of space for that to work. Also, custom Superflat where each level is a random block. Good luck with the end portal there. That's actually a fairly fun idea, Dan Marsh. I think it would ruin it. I think the only way to do it would be... Yeah, you'd have to get someone else to do it so that you wouldn't know it. But I think that is a ludicrously fun idea. Sorry, okay, I'm going to finish my thought, though. So home is just like... Home eventually becomes home, wherever home is. Eventually, your home will stop feeling like this incredible place, and it will start feeling like just where you live. And that can be true for a really bad place, and be true for a really good place. But it means that, like, one of the worst, like, expenses you can have if you're renting it, right, is a really, really nice place. Because outside of, like, I don't know, other people's approval or stuff like that, you're not actually getting more benefit from the nicer place. You're getting more lifestyle downgrade. You have to work a little extra hard, etc. But, like, there's this kind of, like, stickiness in what you're willing to accept, too. So going beyond just the idea that you're spending more money to live there now, but also because home is just home no matter how much it costs, there's an even deeper psychological effect that everyone is willing to upgrade their quality of home, right? If someone said right now, here's the keys to a $10 million, pound, euro house, if someone said that, you would take it. You wouldn't go, no, I think this is the right level of house for me, actually. You know, you'd be insane. If they said you couldn't sell it, but you get to live in it and it'll be maintained and everything, everyone would go for the, you know, the nice, big, you know, whatever house is nice about it house. But if right now there was a great opportunity, and in order to take that opportunity, you'd have to downgrade to like a studio apartment somewhere. If you live in a studio apartment or you have no independent space that you've ever held onto yourself, yeah, great, you'll jump on that immediately. But if you currently live in a big place, one of my friends, when he moved out with his parents, he moved straight into a 2-bedroom house. So he had a spare room that he could use for ideas. Like, I don't know what the ideas were actually, like video game ideas maybe. But he moved straight into a big 2-bedroom house in a tiny village somewhere. And now that guy loves space. Maybe, I mean, he loved space. That's probably why he bought the place or rented the place. But now, like, if he's like, oh yeah, there's a really good job opportunity, but it's in an expensive city where that same budget, you know, like £800 a month will only get me, you know, like a one-bedroom apartment if I'm really lucky. You know, he's gonna be like, yeah, I don't know that I can do that. That's definitely a huge downgrade for me. Whereas if you were just saying like, oh yeah, well, if I can afford a 2-bedroom house here, but I only need a 1-bedroom flat, then if I spend more on a 1-bedroom flat elsewhere, it's just a better location at the same price. In other words, like people will downgrade. People are willing to downgrade their location experience, what's around your front door, but people are very rarely willing to downgrade like the house itself, the thing itself. And I think that's true for a lot of things. Like cars are probably a good example. Everyone starts with a small car, then gets big. It's rare for someone to go from a big car to a small car, right? You convince yourself once you have something, you need to continue having that thing. Even if you started from scratch, you almost certainly would not. Oh, do you want to actually chat? Do you want to hear about my car buying story? I have an interest. It went interestingly. if I can tease you a little bit. I'm going to use just all of this dirt. I'm going to leave 3 of it in slots here, because I think 4 stacks is a nice minimum. But then we're just going to build all the way this way and all the way that way, just to make our line go a little further. Also, be sure to put flowing water with the zombie piglins to keep the items from despawning. Oh yeah, I'll get flowing water ready for the zombie piglins. I think that's my plan. Like, I'll put it in a corner and then are we ready to go? I want your car story. Hey, thank you, Arabic Minecrafter. I'm glad that you want my car story. So the middle of the world is actually right here. I've kind of developed very north of the middle, huh? Yeah, assuming I'm using 0, 0 as my midpoint, which I have been. We now go this way, like, a bunch of blocks, actually. So we just keep on going until we're way past, like, anything. I think it's a simple place to end this. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go kill these mobs. There's too many sheep for me not to kill them, chat. I have a problem, yes, but my problem is that I have a lack of food, so it's a good problem to solve it. Yeah, don't inflate your expenditure when your income increases. Yeah, Cat, okay, you know that. Thank you for saying, basically what I was trying to get at with that whole point is, everyone, when you first upgrade your lifestyle in some way, you immediately notice it and it feels good for a while. Whether that's a week, a month, a year, it'll be good for a while, but eventually it becomes the normal. And so that's fine, that's good. But also there's 2 pigs right there. No, it's 1 pig. It looked like it was 2 pigs on the same spot, but it's 1 pig. There's a pig over here too. I could leave these around since I'm going to be running across my world anyway. I might find a lot of pigs. Oh, the other one's gone. So I literally might not. By the way, Angela Van Kattenhout, thank you for remembering. Welcome back to the Cool Cat Club. Yeah, I also Adam Sony 100% curious about a work visa. Yeah, I want to hear your logic for wanting to move to the EU, by the way. I do think it's very bizarre that we like one of the biggest fumbles in history, in my opinion. And I'm gonna put it about 60% on the US side and 40% on the EU side, is that we don't have a freedom of movement deal between the continents. The only reason I can think that you wouldn't want that on the US side is because you're worried about like the newer EU members. Like when it was just Western Europe, I think it was like an achievable deal, but now it's not. Tokat, are you sick? Why are you playing on the keyboard? I had to just change my batteries. I've only just done it right now. They died on me. I was doing a video about the Happy Gas today. Like I wanted to get it from pure survival to see what that was like. And they died midway while I was doing a jump over some lava. It was like the most horrifying thing. Hey, Godzilla! Thanks for becoming the 404th channel member. Wait, I think my stream deck isn't working. So there's a real chance the member number is just going to go down to 0 right now because it's broken, chat. Oh no, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Okay, it's back up to 400. So now I can press it again, and it should work. Nope, it's crashing. But anyway, hey, 404! And then I think, yeah, we're good. Congratulations, welcome to the club. How are you doing today? I agree with that, Toycat. It baffles me. Yeah, no, it's one of the, it's the thing, I think it's called like the hedonist treadmill. That you can always keep adding more to your life. Like, the weird thing, like, you would expect, the way we set up our economy, and this is one of the things that, like, annoys, one of the things that will help you best if you're stressed about, like, I don't know how to put this, like, if you think to yourself, like, man, all the problems in the world are that there are rich people having all of the enjoyment. Because there's a income, I mean, wealth inequality is the one you should care about. I think income inequality is actually, like, arguably desirable, right? But wealth inequality is a big problem in the world, and that a lot of people, you know, like have feelings about. But you know, if you think to yourself, as you know, it's a fair number of people do, especially if you're young, where money is so important. If you think to yourself, I think I need to take the pigs away and just go to sleep. By the way, I could make a bed out here, but I'm not willing to waste the crafting table ingredients. Yeah, if you logically would assume to yourself that because there is a car that costs £1,000 and then there's a car that costs £5,000, there's a car that costs 10,000, there's one you can buy for 90,000, It costs 95,000 with all the extras, or 100,000 with the extra super extras. But then there's one that costs $250,000, there's one that costs $500,000, there's one that costs $1 million. I think you would assume, logically looking at that, and the way that we work as consumers, is we've got a lot of companies that, like, kind of set things up to try and get the most money out of you by making it so you should feel a bit happier if you spend a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more. Like in the graphics card space, you can always spend a little bit more money to have a slightly faster running computer, right? They give you slightly higher quality chips that are less likely to have faults on them and have more cores that have been unlocked and tested. So a lot of people assume, therefore, if you look at most goods in the world, if you have access to more money, you get more happiness. But there's a level of, studies have been done on this, like earning. Oh, hey, Wandering Trader. Okay, he is not dying today, chat. He's not dying. I don't care what it takes, but he's not. It's not happening. Or I'm gonna trade with him first before any of that can happen. Okay, he wants baked potatoes and he wants a milk bucket, chat. Those are the two disastrous trades that I can't do anything about. I can't cook potatoes till I get a campfire, and I can't get a milk bucket without losing my water bucket. If he had a sapling in here, I think I would do it in a heartbeat. But all he's got is coral, dye, coral, and cherry logs. The cherry logs might be worth it, but since I can't buy anything from him, it's not worth it. I have to brutally enough say, mate, you are just gonna be dead. That is your value to me. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Hope the llamas don't kill him. Okay, we kill the llamas now. I have to use the sword just to make sure they don't kill him. And then we're going to take advantage of that zombie there. Oh, I've got no more wooden sword. I could use the bow. I'll use the power free bow just to really extra do this. I'm going to get the zombie to go nearby the villager, then kill the zombie, or get the zombie to go away or whatever. And then we can kill the villager. So I might drown him first. No, I won't. I'll just make sure he gets nice and close by. I'll punch him a bunch, so 23 times or something. Wealth does not equal happiness, but it can directly impact physical and mental health. I think, though, the thing is I think that also... No. Okay, he's done it himself. Let's go. No! I was a split second too late there, chat. No! No! I messed up. Oh, I was so close to nailing that timing, chat. I think by the time I made the decision to do it, it was fine. Yeah, too slow. Too slow. It's fine. The odds of him dropping the milk bucket, even if I had gotten it right, are like, 1 in 3, 1 in 4. Even if I'd have done it right, I wouldn't have a milk bucket, statistically speaking, but I still would prefer to have more milk buckets than fewer milk buckets. Call me crazy if you will. Okay. That's fine. So yeah, that trader just got the London treatment. Okay, so I'm gonna make myself another hoe now, I think. I think it is worth making a hoe. I clearly need them anyway. So let's get one going. Even though I could take these carrots and just put them somewhere else. So plant those carrots back. Harvest these carrots, so if I get 3, not 2, I did. And plant them back. And we could place a few more over here, but I think where I really want to place these carrots is back up here. And now, do I want to kill these zombies to maybe get some iron? Honestly, yeah, I think I do. I think I want to kill these zombies. So I'll get up here where I can punch them nice and easily. They're going back a bit too far, so I'll just jump down here. Hope for the best. Why not make an iron hoe instead of a wooden one? How much iron do you think I have? Why did I... Why did I check? Okay, so I'll just punch the guys behind this where they can't hurt me. I can hurt them, and I might get some iron. Enough to make a hoe, you might say. Also,
drink water, drink water, drink water, drink water. Wifey tax from my birthday money. Water find ribbon tied. Wish me luck.
Congratulations.
Cowboy hat face emoji. Red heart emoji.
Congratulations, Po Girl. Please remember to keep your parasocial relationship in check. We'll have to give you another reminder for that. But thank you very much. I hope that you're doing wonderfully. I'm happy to hear that you've had a birthday recently. That means that you are older than you were before. Unfortunately political, but the reason for moving out is Trump's firing of the judge advocate generals. If you know who these people are, you understand how not good that is. Yeah, I think I don't, by the way. I like the one of the things I really do like about the US is the separation of what do you even call it? The separation of powers, the separation of the branches of government. I actually think it's I think a lot of people think it's weird. I think nowadays especially, more and more people are starting to think if there's a person who is elected, surely he should be able to do anything he wants, as long as he's the person that I want who is elected. When people I don't like get elected, they are bad people, and they should be severely restricted, of course. Like, I think, I don't know how long it'll be till, like, I want people to critically think, like, any power you think that your guy should have is a power your political opponents will also have. I wish that was like a accepted reality. It seems like it's not. It seems like people will fight tooth and nail the idea that someone you don't like gets to make decisions, but if your guy gets to make decisions, it doesn't. But yeah, separation of powers, checks and balances. Checks and balances is a weird phrase though. I don't agree with that. I mean, like, if you want to call separation of powers checks and balances, you can call it that. I'm sure that's the correct term in the United States too. But I think that having, you know, for example, something that even the most like despotic of people would agree is that having the media be separate to the government is good. Even in the UK, where we have like one of the world's most popular state-run government agencies, it is still politically it is funded by taxes, but it basically gets to collect its own taxes. We made our you know, our government media have the ability to levy its own taxes. We call it a TV license. We get made fun of a lot for it. Easiest way to put it: highest level of judicial branch. See that does seem bad. I get you. I see why you'd want to live in a country where that's not. You know, I see why if you're making a decision, you can make it on that. Car story, please. Toy Cat says Days of Danny. You know, Days of Danny. You asked nicely. You didn't spam. You didn't say I'm sad that you didn't do it. You said I'd be happy if you did do it. That's the correct way to ask anyone about anything. And so just for you, Days of Danny, I can tell you my car story. So this weekend, chat. I'll give you the preamble first, actually. I want to talk more about lifestyle expenses, but we've got hopefully a nice long stream ahead of me, so we can hopefully do both. That is overestimating my ability to stay on one train of thought. I'll concede, but hopefully not by much. Okay, so we're going to be going all the way from here out to positive 128 on both sides. And then we'll do the zigzag chunky thing, and it'll be fine. We probably won't make it all the way out to 128, actually. Okay, so, car story. Also, Dasher, good to see you! Happy birthday! Everyone in chat, wish Dasher a happy birthday today. She got extra wet in the rain, so I think she might appreciate it a little bit more. Happy birthday! So, yeah, that was weird. I've never known having an ad in a live stream. Oh, YouTube turned them up a lot recently, and so I turned them down on my stream, and now I think we've reached a happier place. But I think it depends a lot on where you are. So if you're in like a place where there's a lot of ads, YouTube is like, the stream is a great place to show them to you. Anyway, hope there's no creepers or anything back here. So yeah, I want to tell you about my car. So I think a lot of my audience probably statistically live in places where a car is like your daily, you know, the phrase daily driver exists because it's like, yeah, you need a vehicle that you can drive every single day to go everywhere that you want to go. I think it's, and that's cool, but that's actually not what I want in a car. I specifically want a vehicle that is, so I own, as part of my, in London it's very rare for this, but I own a parking space that comes attached to my house. And then I have access to, again, this is even rarer, I don't just have a parking space. I have access to a bunch of other parking spaces on private land where like I won't get fined for parking it right. So I'm in this very rare situation for living in a city where I actually have the ability to have a vehicle without it costing me every day or being a nightmare to park or having, you know, like ludicrous insurance costs. But because I have this parking space in my land, if I don't use the parking space, I just, you know, like, it's just a waste, right? I rent it out right now, I get something like 40, 50 pounds a month from it. Because again, people like to park in a city, and most people don't have access to that. But I figure, you know, wouldn't it be cool? I considered for a while just buying like a derelict van, because isn't it crazy if I wanted to put a garden shed up in a parking space? I think all of my neighbors would object. My local council would say, "Sorry, mate, you don't have a permit for that. You know, like this is a parking space, not a shed." But if I bought a van, I could just have a van, even if it's like literally unable to run. And everyone would go, yeah, that makes sense. It's a parking space, you're allowed to have a van. And so I could have a garden shed, or like, you know, I could just have a place to store stuff, like a storage unit. So yeah, it's basically like, there is land that I'm only allowed to use for something that has 4 wheels, right? And after like playing around most of the goofy ideas, I was like, you know, actually, I do like, you know, I rent a car like once a month to go places when they're not, you know, easily attached to a train station. So I want a car basically to use once a month. And that means that I can be quite weird with it, right? Like I don't need a reliable car, you know, because I can just turn it on once a week or something, or twice a month, I think is what I've decided on. But I don't need a reliable car because like a car doesn't die if you drive it, you know, 4,000 miles a year. So, you know, I don't need a reliable car necessarily. But then it's also not worth spending a bunch it's not worth spending a bunch on a fun car. Like there's a lot of vehicles I really love that are like 20 to 30,000. There's a lot of cars from my childhood I'd love to, or like you know, like Need for Speed games I'd love to buy. There are a lot of like fun things like that. But like ultimately what I really just need is like, when I need a vehicle, I want one that I'm comfortable being in and that makes me feel good in some way. You know, using the logic from before. Oh no, come on, get in that hole. Get in that hole. Don't die. Using the logic from before. There's not a whole lot of happiness that I can get beyond spending like a little bit on this car. And so, oh god, it's nighttime. I just need to get that pig in there, but I'm not going to bother. I'll let future me deal with that. Current me can deal with this. There's abandoned parking lots in my town. You're not supposed to park for more than a few hours. Such a waste of space. Okay, so I'm looking for just like something where if I get in there once a month, I'm like, oh, this is fun. That's kind of, I think that's the thing I like most in my life. You know, I've gone to the point where like, you know, when I am spending money, I kind of like, I don't want to just get I want to have something that has silly quirks to it. I want to have something where I'm like, oh yeah, look at this. Where if someone looks at me and goes, what did you just get? And I'm like, oh yeah, but look at this though. You know, like I'm fully willing to concede that, but I love just strange little features like that. They are the things that give me joy in my life. And so what I've decided on, chat, is a smart car. I don't think they're that common of a vehicle. I think I read recently they've only ever made 250,000 of them. And most of those are the tiny ones. They can park sideways in spaces. They're really good for cities. So they make a big smart car, which is already like a weird concept. Like, so look at the tiniest vehicle possible. It seats 2 people and has also cool door. Thank you. Wait, why are you saying cool door? What door do I have that is cool to you? Yeah, did you just jump on pigs? I did not just jump on pigs. I'll assure you of that much. That is a crime, friend. Anyway, so also I think while I'm here, I'll break some more dirt. I clearly need some anyway. And so I can get a way of destroying this now. I have a real reason to. Let's just go ahead and do it. Question, do you get villages in Superflat? Not yet, and not that we've seen any. So yeah, the big smart car. Yeah, exactly. It is they took the tiniest car and then they made it slightly bigger. So it's still smaller than every other city car. And it's owned by Mercedes, so it's like a high-end vehicle, but it's tiny and looks ridiculous. If you want to look it up, you can. It's called Smart for 4. And so I specifically was like, this car is just kind of weird looking, but also it's like premium. Like I think a lot of weird cars are like kind of rough. It's like it's a nice car. And so you buy one used, you can get it for a few thousand. And so I just you know, I decided to do the logical thing, and I saw one that was like really dented. It was like dented. It had paint scratches, and in exchange for that, it was like a good 500,000 pounds cheaper. And I was like, honestly, you know, like, again, if you're driving something every day to your work and you're an accountant, you can't have a dinged up car. But for me, that's like a feature that I'm saving £500 on. Like, oh no, I scraped the car. No one will know which scrapes are mine and which one came with the car effectively. I feel like I've heard a lot of people who own cars talk about the relief that comes when you finally get your first dent, because you're like, now the second dent will be the second dent and not the first dent, right? Also, my first thoughts when seeing a small car is, yep, you're dead if you drive that. Oh yeah. So that is, weirdly enough, actually, I'll concede blue lights. That's my biggest reason for not wanting the very smallest car. If you have a smart car and you're on a motorway at 70 miles per hour and something hits you, there's no crumple zone. It's just it's like you're running along at 70 miles per hour and you hit a brick wall. Except then the brick wall is actually, anyway, yeah, it's, so the basic logic here, is, also, ooh, you're a really cool guy, says Daryl. You know what, thank you, I'm gonna stop my story to say that Daryl thinks I'm a cool guy. So, you know, thank you, Daryl. If everyone in chat could say thank you, Daryl, that'd be good. Anyway, so, yeah, the reason I want the bigger one is because of that, like, fear. Because it's a high-end car, they make a lot of, like, marketing push about, like, it's really safe when you get in an accident. And because it's, like, rear-engined, if you get hit from the front, you've got this whole crumple zone. It's great. It's no engine in there that might hit you. And if you get hit from behind, they designed it so that the engine's below the seats. So even if you have passengers back there, which I don't know if I want to, but like if you had passengers back there, it would still. Anyway, the safety of it was like one of the reasons I think it's fun. It's like you can have a small car but not feel like, yep, if if anyone's just not looking where they're going when I brake, I'm dead, I guess. Because I do have to concede that's like a real thought. Especially if you live in a country with big vehicles. The bigger everyone else's car gets, the more big you need your car to get to make sure that those cars don't kill you basically. So yeah, and so like yeah, kind of following the logic of like I wanna own a vehicle that yeah, kind of following the logic that I wanna own a vehicle where you know, like if I want to get something else in the future, I don't feel like, but I already had something bigger. If I bought an F-150 truck, right? They don't really sell them I think they literally don't sell them in the UK. I think I'd have to get an American import. But if I wanted an F-150 truck, with all of the trimmings, I don't know how do you describe, I don't know how someone who owns an F-150 would describe having an F-150, but like if I wanted an F-150 truck, then any vehicle I got into after would feel small and I'd feel vulnerable, right? That's like a real fear. Anyway, so it's a tiny little it's a tiny little thing, but it's called a safety cell, so that like you can see it on the outside. It's like the car is built to be as safe as possible for while it's that small. Would an F-150 even fit on UK roads? I mean, I genuinely think after driving a truck in America for a bit in Vegas, like in a city, I really didn't like it. I think it was the height that was the biggest thing. I don't think it's that much wider than a normal vehicle. Lots of people used to buy pickup trucks in the UK because it's a tax thing. Smart cars look goofy. Yeah, exactly, Antonio. It's a goofy looking car. So anyway, I decided I wanted to buy one that was like covered in chips because it would be $1,000 almost cheaper. And so yeah, I went to go look at two cars that day. One was like one that had everything. They were the same car, same year, same everything else. But one had all the extras and wasn't dented on the outside. And one was like paint chipped and scratched and everything. And so the one that had all the extras wasn't dented on the outside was in rough condition on the inside. Everything had been chewed by a dog. Like I've never seen that in a car before. It makes sense. Like it's everything was chewed up. There was like crayon all over the car. Everything was torn. I was like, oh, this is just a not touched interior. But I was like, oh, it says it has Android Auto though. I'll plug in my phone. The USB port. Have you ever seen like a sunken USB port? You literally couldn't get I don't know how to describe it, but it wouldn't accept my cable, which is a weird thing. And so just like within 5 minutes of being in it, I was like, oh, so this is a car charging a premium price, and it does not work. It is fun. So like there was no reverse cam, even though it had a screen for it. There was no Android Auto that I could find because it didn't have a USB cable that would function. And so just like very quickly, I was like, yeah, I can't. Especially, you know, like if you look at the two next side by side, like why would I pay more for something that has been eaten by a dog and drawn on by a child? Maybe actually it was just maybe instead of a dog it was a child eating both things. But in any case, it just felt a little bit silly, right? I would have felt very silly at least. And so yeah, basically I very quickly like left that one and went to like the second car, which was the one I already kind of felt like made more sense. Like get a car that's dinked up, and if I want to repair it later, I can. But even smarter, I can repair it after I've scratched it. If I like. You know, if there's some teething issues, if I dent it going somewhere, I could fix it after my scratches, and it was a great idea. It looked great. It looked like a wonderful car otherwise. So yeah, I went to go look at it. It was listed for like, let's just say 3,000 something. But I went to go look at this car, and it was cheaper than the other one, and it was weird because I went to the address they gave I went to the address they gave, and I ended up. Also, it'd be confusing for anyone who gets in your car and knows you don't own a dog. Yeah. Yeah, you're right, actually. That even if I could live with, like, dog marks, I think it would add to the vibe that you're a serial killer to anyone who just meets you. Like, you'd be like, oh, is this, did your dog get to this? And I'd be like, I've never owned a dog in my life. My aunt owned a dog when I was 7 years old. You know, you could really confuse them, stuff like that. But yeah, I think outside of confusing people deliberately and trying to give off serial killer vibes, not a lot of benefit in owning a dog-scratched car if you don't own a dog. You know, it's kind of like in the same way you don't want a dented car. If you plan to never dent your car, it's dumb to buy a pre-dented one. So I went to this pre-loved vehicle. I show up to the address they gave in Google Maps. And there's just a bunch of cars in the corner of like a leisure club. Like if you don't live in the UK, I don't think that makes sense. But like there was like a place that you go to do activities, and in the corner there were just 10 cars that had price tags in the dashboard. So it looks like a used car dealership, except no. And then I look around. There's no signage that says like, you know, like Best Cars UK or whatever the name of their brand was. it was something bad like that. Like so I look around for Best Cars UK. I don't see anything around here that indicates it. But clearly this is a car place because there's cars of numbers in the window. But they're notably not the car I'm here for. Like that's not there. And so I give the person a call, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'll just my brother should be there real soon." You know, I feel like, you know, family-run business, like not always a bad sign, but. You know, if you ask me, it is a little... I feel like that's always... It's not actually the greatest of signs. If the reason you're working for a, you know, for a business is because it's your brother that owns it, tell me if I'm wrong here, chat. I feel like that's like a... You know, like, it's not the best of signs to start with. The fact that there's no one at this business because the business is a car park in the corner in the middle of nowhere, also a little bit of a bad sign. But then I call the guy and he's like, "Oh, I was waiting to pick you up at the station." And I'm like, "Well, I said I'd be here, but, you know, maybe a miscommunication or whatever. Totally fine." So, you know, it's no stress whatsoever. So that what he does is he just drives. He was driving the car. He was going to pick me up in the car I wanted to buy. And also, what's the goal for the stream? I missed the first 45 minutes. Good to see you, Xavier. My goal is to get things from the Wandering Trader. I have a lot of other goals I'd like to start on, but the Wandering Trader giving me an oak sapling would change my life. Or lightning coming and me being able to get a bunch of carrots. Those would both be great events. If neither of those things happen, then it would be a very sad event. That's my simple summary. Although a lot of carrots have grown, which is wonderful news. So yeah, it's nice having like some daily tasks to do in Minecraft. Also, I don't think the carrots did grow. Oh no, they did. Something went wrong there. So should I harvest even more? I think I should. I'll take the most grown carrots here. Bone mill them to the top. Get a few more carrots. It's a cheap way to turn bone meal into carrots, I think. And it should mean that I'll finally harvest the rest over here. Okay, so yeah, I went to this place. It's a dodgy corner in the middle of a car park. And the guy does eventually show up in the car that he was going to drive me. And everything is like pretty decently in order with the car. Like it drives fine, etc., etc. And so then I'm like, you know, ready to have a little chat about it. And, you know, like, you know, there's the usual, like, negotiation thing. And he's like, yeah, literally can't negotiate at all on it. We're selling it for exactly what we're making a loss on it, really. we're just trying to get rid of it because we had it as like a part exchange for something else. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. And I was like, honestly, although I wasn't here to like negotiate anything, I want you to guarantee, like every other dealership does, that like, because in the UK it seems like every dealership I was finding is like, yeah, if there's a fault within a year, you've got a warranty, you're covered under it. Whereas they didn't make that claim, so I was like, yeah, can you extend this to a year? And he's like, that'll cost you £300. I'm like, I mean, okay. And he's like, yeah, but I'll give you 3 months warranty for free. And I'm like, well, you don't, like legally in the UK when you buy a used car from a dealership, you get like a 6-month, I think you get 30 days to return it with no questions asked. You can just say, didn't like it. And you get, you get, I think it's 180 days, 6 months, where if there's any issue with the car whatsoever, it's the dealership has to fix it, basically. I think there's like probably an exception if they can prove that it was wear and tear, or they can prove that you actively harmed that vehicle in some way that you weren't meant to. But like you've got 6 months where it's their problem. So the dealership would be like, yeah, 3-month warranty though, so good. And I was like, just make it a year, like every other person on this platform seems to be saying, and we'll be good. And he's like, yeah, for £300 we can do that. We can set you up some paperwork. I'm like, okay, that's not a great sign, first of all, but like, sure. If you're not gonna, I know you're legally bound by this, that's fine. But if you're gonna like play so sketchy with the law here, I'm entirely happy to do this if we can pay by card. You can buy cars on a credit card, by the way. It's one of those facts that I learned when I first got into credit card points like years and years ago. And I was like, this will never come up. When would I ever want to buy a car on a credit card? But need to buy a car, so credit card, perfect way to do it, right? But yeah, the guy's like, yeah, well, if we're gonna take credit card, there's gonna be a 3% fee, or 3.5% fee, 4% fee. He like negotiated. He kept saying he kept coming up with numbers out of nowhere, and I was like, not really happy of that. But eventually I was like, okay, I'll pay your 3% credit card fee, because to me the fact that I can actually have, to keep it on the thing. And he's like, yeah. So the way we accept credit card is I'm going to give you my personal PayPal. You send this as a friends and family payment, and then I'll charge you the 3.5% fee on top. I'm like, whoa. You've gone from taking credit card to wanting to do so in a way where you cannot get that, refunded at all. And then during this whole process, he's like, oh, look, if you're worried about the car, don't worry. We've been here for years. We're not going away, if you have any issue, you give us a call, we'll sort it. Look us up on company. He said specifically, look us up on Company's House, like best cars UK 24/7. And so I looked into that, right? And it said that they'd been struck off, or like they had the first and second notice to be struck off the register, like 2 months ago. And all of their reviews are from the last 3 months. And this company has existed for 10 years, but keeps changing who the director is. It keeps changing who's in control. And I'm like, yeah, no, I didn't say it out loud to him. I didn't want to offend his honor. That's insulting. But I'm not gonna give a bunch of money via a non-refundable mean for a car, that I'm buying from the corner of a leisure club car park. I was like, look, I'm being very flexible here. I'm saying I'll pay your credit card fees. I'm saying I'm not nudging any amount of price. I'm even giving up my negotiating position of saying I want a longer warranty on this. But what I am saying is I want my legal rights to be protected, right? I want to buy this under some method where you don't get to decide, how that goes, right? I don't have to take you to court to make this go right. And he's like, yeah, well, we don't have a card. We're gonna have to do. I tell you what, I've got like a business PayPal, and as long as you send friends and family, it'll be a proper transaction. I look into it, and it's like, PayPal does not cover car purchases. And it's like I'm not comfortable of making a purchase where, even after I agree to pay the fees, they're like, yeah, but we're not taking the card directly. If we took the card directly, then we'd have to actually be responsible for the vehicle in that way. And I do know it's not actually that common for used car dealers to accept credit card. It's like it seems like it's close to 50-50 so far. Or at the very, but even not taking a debit card. Also, cartoonish situation you found yourself in. That means they keep getting legal action / bankrupted, and in order for the assets not to be seized, they change the director. Yeah, it's a sign something's going wrong, right? And the fact that their business has been operating for years, they say We had a site over there a few years ago. We just moved here. And all of their reviews are from the last 3 months. That yells at me that they get a negative review because they screw someone over. And then they, you know, they dissolve the business and then reset it up. Like, everything about this was like, the car was great. The car, like, the car had a fast charging USB port for. I didn't know you could have fast charging USB ports in cars from that year. It had like a built-in. It was a really nice example of a car that I was looking for, and it was a great price, and it was because it was pre-dented. But like, and maybe the guys were like, yeah, it's a perfectly fine car, but but also, by the way, I don't know if this is a normal thing, but like the MOT, it's a yearly check you have to do on every car in the UK to make sure it's roadworthy. It was like done by them. I didn't know garages could do those things. But yeah, anyway, my point is like, there was enough of like, you know, like question mark on this whole thing for me to just be like, look, if you can find some way to take the credit card payment, I'll pay it, all good. We'll go. And he's like, nah, this is the only way. And I'm like, goodbye then. He's like, okay, appreciate that. Did waste 2 hours of my time here with you. And I'm like, well, you know, I feel like it's already wild to say, force the customer to pay for the credit card fees. But like, yeah, you know, it should be a cost of doing business. It's actually illegal in most industries to charge the consumer a credit card fee, right? Like, I think that might literally be a crime. And also, I think the credit card fees are like capped quite low now in the UK. I could be wrong, but I think it's like capped at like 0.2% in the EU. Again, hope I'm not getting... Whatever it is, though, let's say it costs them 4%. It's like usually it's a cost of doing business, because cash is actually expensive to handle too. There are only a few good reasons not to take cash. Also, doesn't the UK have e-transfers? In Canada, we can wire money from bank to bank super easily. So, no, he was like... The problem with that is, though, right? I don't know if e-transfer is the same as a bank transfer here. But if you do a bank transfer, it's literally non-reversible. Like, you won't... It's, there's been situations where people have, like, wired their house deposit. So we're talking, like, 50K or something, right? People have wired that to the wrong account by one number. And if the person doesn't voluntarily refund it, it's a really long process with the bank. And yeah, there's a really famous case of this where someone did decide to spend all the money and basically go bankrupt, and it's like, well, if they don't have the money to return, it's over for you, right? And so it's like the reason that most people, when they buy things from you, want bank transfer is because it's like you're never getting your money back. The only way you get the money back is if they choose to give it back, right? Whereas if you make a credit card payment, even a debit card payment, most banks, if they see that you're a victim of a scam, will like voluntarily, you know, like there's a process in place. But a bank transfer is as good as giving cash from your account to their account. Also, credit card fees are much lower in the UK and not usually applied in most cases. Yeah, I've actually been curious for a while as to how credit card companies make their money. Is it all on late fees now? Like, do they make a loss on me because they give me 1% back, but they're only charging, you know, like less than 1% to a retailer? Or is there some other way that you can make money from that? Venmo makes me so nervous every time I use it. I never store any money in there. Oh yeah. I had Cash App for a bit. They stopped existing in the UK, if you'll believe it. So I had Cash App for a while, and it's like, oh yeah, you send it to the wrong name, you know, it's gone, right? In the same way though, like, and that sounds terrifying, but really it's like, yeah, it's digital money. If you send Bitcoin to the wrong address, if I drop a £5 on the floor in a train station, I can't later be like, go to my bank and be like, I lost £5, can you reimburse me? That would be insane, right? And so that's what bank transfers are. It's, here is money that is currently in my account. Please make sure it is in their account by the end of the day, or usually it's like instant in the UK. So did he get the car from them in the end? I did not buy the car under those circumstances. Again, the guy literally unapologetically, he refused to accept that we were walking away. He's like, no, yeah, that's fine. It'll sell. Like he was like bitter about it. And like, I'm offering you the full value and then some. I've offered you more money for your car. You know, you can't tell me I've wasted your time. Whereas I would argue he has wasted mine. And so yeah, I had a bad experience. But also, it was kind of fun. Like, it was that. So I didn't get to test drive it on like a motorway, but it was like, yeah, just drive it around this car park. And because it's like a tiny car, it's really, really fun for like small spaces. It has like a tiny turning radius. And it's like, yeah, I got to learn, like it's peppier than the last car I test drove. I went out last weekend. I found a car that was like perfect on paper. It was like the cheapest to insure, the cheapest to tax, really, really cheap to drive. But it was just bad in person. Like it wasn't. It stalled like 3 times before I got it. It wasn't fun, is what I'm saying. I didn't like it. If I'd have bought it without having tested it, I'd have felt bad. Whereas the car but both the ones I tested yesterday, real good. But like I said, I think if I'm making a purchase that's in the thousands, I don't want to think to myself if it breaks, like, well, this is my bad. You know, I want to have some assurance. And if there's a company that keeps unexisting and keeps like vanishing and reappearing, and then also specifically only wants the money in a way where they know that it can't be refunded under any circumstances, even if they break the law, you know, no, that's a note for me. I think I could have. I think there is another world where I say, what's the worst that can happen? But I think especially for a small and a first car, I feel like I want it to be. I don't want to be stressed every time I'm on the motorway. Like, what if this thing breaks? So what am I doing now then, chat? So I think I'm gonna go fishing again. I think getting a saddle would actually be pretty cool, and I think I'm sold on the idea of doing one. And then I'm gonna work on a mob farm after that. Also, time to take a car for sale at the dealership for a test drive. You didn't end up buying a stolen car, GG. Yeah, the only thing that was incorrect about it from the searches was it had outstanding finance on it. So it might have been that someone sold it to them, even though a finance company owns it, and they're like shifting that burden. But yeah, I maybe try a garage. Yeah, maybe I think that is, but I think I do need like a more, you know, reputable, actually exists business. You know, like I need a place that has a sign where I can stand outside of a sign saying they scammed me. You know, if they, or yeah, I don't actually want that, of course, but I want a place where they're worried that I'll do that, or at least, you know, a place where if I left a Google review, they're not going to vanish and reappear under the same name 6 months later. But yeah, oh god, I'm so bad at fishing, chat. Like I don't know why. This is one of my Minecraft skills I need to dust up on. Let's solve it. But yeah, there's like 100 of that car for sale right now. And they're all at like similar price points. Like I'm not gonna get the 500 to £1,000 discount for it being dented on any other car, but they've all got like lower miles and stuff like that too. So I feel like I will eventually find one. So the only question I have is like, if I were to leave a bad review on your air fryer, would you vanish? I would vanish, and we would have to start again under a new name. Too antsy to fish. Maybe that's it, Riley. Maybe my brain is just too antsed up. But yeah, gotta love businesses that are reputable and actually exist. I think that's an important thing. I remember years. This is crazy. My first business I started when I was 14. I remember like when I was like 12 and first joined the community for like these types of sites. It was like in the advertising industry. But when I was 12, I noticed that one of the big sales points that places would use that would like really sell me on like why you should trust one of these websites, because advertising is trust. You give them money first, they give you something later, or you put in work first and they give you money later. Like on the internet, trust is important. And one of the easiest ways you could prove trust was on forums. It would say joined in, insert year here. It would say how many posts you've done. And so those two factors alone were like hugely valuable. And so I thought to myself, like, okay, I want to do this at some point clearly, or even if I might want to do this, I'll establish myself now and I'll like, you know, like jump in the threads and make sure people know like I'm here to stay. So that way, if I open this site and then, you know, I just scam everyone, people will have someone to come to, and they'll have someone if I try to open another one. Because that's what would happen with a lot of these people, is then people would be like, nope, this guy scammed me. And that's like a, so there's like a, you know, like a, it's basically a collateral. you are putting down as a business, look, here is my good name. If my good name gets ruined, I'm set back 2 years. Whereas if you set up your business 3 months ago, you could do something disastrous right now and then just start again. And the fact that you've needed to start again, it could just be a sign that you picked a new name. It could be a sign that, like, you know, something went wrong, you forgot to file some paperwork on time or whatever. But, smart business move from 12-year-old Toy Cat. Yeah, it really worked too, by the way, Jaden. I could be overstating it because I was 14 when I launched this site, so I feel like 14-year-olds feel like they're at the top of everything. But when I launched it, there were so many vouchers of people being like, yeah, I know Toy Cat. I shouldn't have revealed just now that I used the same username. But, you know, I know Schmodgy Lodge. You know, it was people saying, like, I know Toy Cat. He's legit. You know, we've spoken before or whatever. And that was actually, like, a big deal. That was, like, a huge, like, leg up. Because, you know, like, if there's, like, 100 of these types of websites out there, this one's from Jimmy No Name. This one has existed for, you know, 3 years or whatever. Because it was really common in the space for sites. I think it's just common on the internet for any site that could make money from vanishing one day to just vanish one day. I think, like, you know, vanishing one day is a very effective business tactic, I guess I'm saying. So, like, yeah, I think being able to, like, prove, like, look, I have incentive in not doing that. It really helped with the launch. And it helped whenever there was, like, criticism of, like, oh, yeah, well, you know, like, if... Let's say, you know, like, oh, I haven't been paid in 12 hours, even though it says here that it's meant to happen in under a day. And, you know, like, people would give you benefit of the doubt in those situations until it was clear that you had scammed someone. And so I want a business where I can give them the benefit of the doubt. I want a business that wants the benefit of the doubt, not for ill reasons, but so that they can actually solve something. So yeah, that's my kind of thing. Also, according to AutoTrader, once you bought the car, the outstanding finance becomes your problem. Is that true? Yeah, I would have guessed not, but that is very funny if that's true. So yeah, that sounds like that could have been the scam. That there's some number of thousands of pounds on this car. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I combine those bows to save some space. Yeah, but then I can't use them to make... I can never use them to make dispensers, I guess. That's a good point. I can never make dispensers. Therefore, I should stop pretending I can. Therefore, I should combine the bows. So let's take these 5 bows. Let's combine them together. That is a good idea. Also, I've got loads of enchanted bows now I've got to do something with. You should be able to combine more than 2 at once. That's my next hot take here. Anyway, yeah, I think I doubt the benefit of subscribing to Toy Cat. You know, weirdly enough, that is actually like I would make an argument that it's one of the reasons that you can trust that if we're putting something out as IBX toy maps, you know, you can trust, for example, that Boss Blitz isn't going to brick your machine, or you know, whatever else it may be. Like if I'm putting something out for download, you can trust that I have a real incentive, even if it's just in like. Even if you really didn't trust me, right, and you think I'm the worst YouTuber ever, you know that at the very least, because I have to maintain a reputation, I at the very least have to, like, you know, like, respond to you and, you know, not respond, but like respond publicly if I put out something that bricked everyone's computer and be like, oh yeah, don't do that, it might brick your computer. So you know, the lack of said statement is a good sign, right? Someone with reputation has... I think this is the thing, like, that Google tried to solve the internet, like, years ago. Like, reputation does a lot of benefits to a space. Like, people who have a reason to be nice is good. You know, like, in a standard human interaction, what is the incentive to be good to your opposing parties? Also, I think I'm going to start working... Oh, it's nighttime almost. Okay, we'll fish, and then in the morning, I'm gonna go start work on this farm. I love Superflat because it allows me to live my perfect, scatterbrained life. It's real good stuff. Anyway, I do not doubt the benefits of subscribing to Toy Cat. No, I missed the thing. I'm glad you don't doubt the benefits, Michelle Ower. But yeah, I think reputation is a hugely important thing. And if a business is bypassing the benefits, that means that they think the costs of reputation are higher than the benefits. Because there is costs too. Like, for the longer I exist, the more people there are that feel burned at some point, right? It is a matter of time if I continue to exist in the public eye until someone somewhere decides, you know what, Toy Cat, he only tipped me 10%, even though I was a really great server. You know, there's going to be someone who's like, oh yeah, you know, I had this guy in a taxi, and he kept talking about, you know, nuclear explosions, and I did not like that at all. You know, eventually, slowly but surely, you know, like, you're building up those things, because for every positive interaction you have, eventually you're going to have negative ones. That's why you should never trust a business that has 100% positive Google reviews. Like, you know that that's fake. You know that there is no one in the world, there is no business out there that can perfectly get a flawless 5-star rating. Whereas 4.7 stars with 1,000 reviews, that's good. That means the crazies went there and went, oh yeah, they did not like the way that they treated me. Whereas the lack of crazies, right? That means either they're shutting down criticism at best. If you're lucky, they are, you know, like, threatening to sue people who criticize them. But realistically, it means the good reviews are fake. You know, we know that people, everything in the world is hated by some people. And knowing who hates something and who likes something is the important criteria. If everyone loves something, it's not really good. That's this is useful for politics too. It's my favorite default, like, when if a politician says something that you can't imagine someone advocating for the other side of, they're not really saying anything. They're just, you know, they're being popular, which, you know, like, it's their job to be popular. Not gonna hate them for it, but it means you can't value it or trust it. They're just saying words that they think people like. If you know, if a politician says, you know what, we need to rebuild the middle class, it's like, oh, is there a politician out there who's excitedly campaigning on destroying the middle class? Is there a politician who's like, you know what, there's too many middle class bleep 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 bleeps out there? Yeah, I'm gonna decide where to put my mob farm now, chat. I'm thinking this corner here. I'm thinking I could use this corner here, or maybe I should go in, like, this corner here. No, I kind of like that shelter staying there. So maybe I should go on the other side. And then we'll put some carpet around it just to make it, like, clear. I think you go for a 21 by 21 chamber is the perfect way to do it. And then we can, like, burn them later. What are the enchants on the fishing rod? I've got Lure and I've got Luck of the Sea. It's a really good combination, if you ask me. Virtue signaling, says Riley. Yeah, people, like, well, I mean, okay, so virtue signaling is something different, I think. Yeah, but it's more or less the same. Like, just trying to say I am a really good person is like, you know, no one is excitedly doing the opposite of that. I think, which is, I think actually, like, here's like a life pro tip. I think people like you more if you're willing to share your flaws than willing to share your strengths. You know, like, being willing to concede that you are not a perfect human being is a much better proposition to most people than pretending you are and being offended that people don't agree with that. So if we're going for a 21 by 21 square, we actually are going to have some problems. If we want to center that around a chunk, then we can't center 20 by 1 by 21 blocks around a chunk. Can we center it around a 4 by 4 hole? We can. Let's do that first and see if it causes problems later. So that means I'm gonna use a bunch of carpet now, just to mark this out. That means it would go 2 blocks this way, except that'd only be 1 block this way, because this would be one of the blocks. So we could just go, yeah, let's go, if this is where the chunk starts and ends, we're going 2 blocks this way. And this is gonna be my, this is where my mob spawning farm is gonna be. I'm gonna have to later, once I get wood, I'm gonna have to build everything out in a crazy way. But for now, this is the vibe. Okay, so carpet goes all the way into here. I could use mud or something for this, but I think I could just use dirt. And I'm going to build a big platform here. Oh, I don't have dirt yet. I need to dig out a slime chunk, I guess, somewhere. Let's work on that. Yeah, where should I dig out the slime chunk, though? It'd have to be somewhere in the middle. I'll look for a slime chunk that's near here. I'll break it for dirt after I've worked out where this is going. So this is actually the line itself that I'm drawing right now. It's not actually... I should have really drawn it just outside where I'm going, but it's fine. This goes there, and then across there. And we'll do the same here. I'm not going to build on the other side of this right now, but it is going to exist. So this would be a 20 by 20 space. I'll confirm that. It goes from 143.98. It should go up to 162.97. No, 79. It's the same numbers, but flipped. Is that good? Yeah, that's 20 by 20. And then we'll build a big platform, fill it in. It'll be great. Okay, so now I'm going to just quickly check if there's a slime chunk nearby. I need to destroy them all anyway. I can't imagine there is a slime chunk because I would see slimes if there were, right? But we're in the negative direction. Where is negative? Negative is top left. So negative 80 to negative 80 and negative 96 up to negative 96, negative. So this is negative 80 and this is negative 96. So right here, this chunk going this way. I'll confirm that is true. Negative. So it goes from negative 81 to negative 96 on the X and negative 97 to negative 1112 on the Z. So yeah, that's great. We got that sorted. No, actually, no, it's the wrong way around. I'm doing it wrong. I got the big number first and the small number second. It should be small number first, big number second. So we need to go... No, how do I do that, chat? My brain is broken. I don't know how to do numbers anymore. Okay, so we need to go over here. Negative 80. Oh, there we go. There's the slime. Perfectly proving that I was wrong. So we need to start, like, here. After we defeated this guy. Okay, so I'm going to quickly pause. Look at this, chat. Amazing. This guy could murder me in, like, 4 hits if he wanted me to. So, why is Click using carpets instead of flooding the whole place? Oh, it's just because I'm trying to, like, show the area before I do anything else. I do definitely want to flood an area, but I want to show you my fun idea first. And then we can flood things later. Oh, invisible slime attack. Okay, so, numbers are hard, says the Mandarin. Yeah, it's one of the weirder parts of the whole series. Yeah, I think, though, that, like, chat, I think... One of the things I think about so much in life is about how if you're willing to, you know, it's like putting yourself out there is one of the hardest things in so many fields, but also one of the most, like, valuable things in so many fields, right? Like, but if you put yourself out there, there's a chance that, you know, people don't like it. Is the risk, right? You know, if I tell you, you know, let me try and find the most, like, horrendous. You know, even my thing of saying, like, yeah, if someone owns a business and they worked it because their brother's there, that's offensive. You know, I bet in some cultures that's actually the standard. Like, your brother owns a business, why aren't you helping them? But, like, to me, it's like a sign, like, yeah, you're not there because you're good at your job. You're there because your brother needed someone and they felt they could trust you more than a stranger, or they felt they could pay you less than a stranger. By the way, Pearl Girl, remember, we support women's rights and their wrongs, like when they do bad things. What terrible things have you done, Pearl Girl, that you need support for? I'm not sure that I'd like to jump into it. Also, chat's talking about food. Join in, Toy Cat. Food is one of my favorite subjects. First, though, Pout says, slime chunks are one of the most outdated mechanics in Minecraft, which really should be removed. First of all, totally agree. Really should be removed and replaced with a more intuitive slime spawning system. Totally agree with that one. I think that the way that slime chunks work is one of the most absurd things that we just have to put up with. I really don't like that we just have to put up with it, but we do. So if this goes from 81, oh, we're not at 81 yet. It goes from here. That means it goes out to 96 fully. So there we go. And now the rest of this should be easy to just do. Yeah, I think that slime chunks are one of the most broken mechanics. there's a lot of things in Minecraft that could do with fixing. I think slime chunks are really high up there. Maybe on the same tier. Like, they fixed mob spawning as a whole, and I think that's one of the biggest steps forward they made was towards mob spawning. But then they kind of made the steps backwards of vibrant visuals. Yeah, it's hard to say. White chocolate, orange and chocolate is a thing. Lemon and chocolate must be. You know, chili and chocolate is a thing. You know, so, but yet at the same time, apple and chocolate is not. Honestly, I think flavor profiles are like, they seem like witchcraft to the average person. Like, how did someone decide that garlic is something that should be in every meal ever? Because the decision was made, right? It's something that's been done. Okay, so I'm gonna start this platform high so that I can like dig it low and like make some campfires if I need to. This was the mistake I made last time I made a mob farmer. Last time I made a mob grinder chat, I made the horrible mistake of accidentally making it too low. Okay, so we're gonna start here. So it's technically gonna be slightly outside of the chunk, but that's totally fine. On this side, on that side, it might mess up everything, but chill. Oh, I need more dirt. Even all of that was not enough dirt for me to actually build this platform. I'm gonna need to spend like a whole day shoveling or something. But in the meantime, let's go home and let's do it. Mint and chocolate are so gross together, says Riley. Yeah, see, actually not. I think mint and chocolate is a lot of people's favorite combination. But yeah, I think flavors feel like witchcraft to the standard person. And I think I'm slowly coming down on the side that it just is. You know, it's not that it feels like witchcraft, it's that it is witchcraft. Or it's random, right? Like, how do people just decide they like Dubai chocolate? Side note, by the way, chat, Dubai chocolate's so good. It's pistachio Gaddafi. I don't know what Gaddafi is. It's not a phrase I had used very often prior to it becoming popular. So let's just breed some pigs. And then let's hope the zombies don't follow them into the pit. That's a skeleton, which means if I go to sleep right now, I'll end up with at least 3 bones. And so given that it doesn't seem that likely it's going to start thundering, and given that I'm not ready for the thunder, I think I sleep tonight, chat. I think I sleep tonight. I think staying up through the lightning is important once I can benefit enough from the lightning, but otherwise it's needless risk for not enough reward. So this guy is not dying for some reason. Oh, I need to patch this in probably. Okay, so let's take a dirt block. I'll just grab one from here. Oh, 1 dirt block, please. And I just heard a skeleton die. But we just patched that up right there. Now that skeleton starts dying. Perfect. So let's go find where the other skeleton died. Presumably in the hole. Yep, there's an arrow for me. And then this guy should be nice and easy. Easy peasy. You want to die for me, buddy? Do you want to? You're going to have to. If you keep shooting me, I'm not going to be happy. And look at that. Got me some bones, got me some arrows. And I think I'm going to start using... This is my go-to bow, chat. If I use this bow, I get an infinite number of arrows. And I can use those arrows to get me more arrows. Do you feel me on that, chat? I have an infinite arrow machine right here. And I think I should be taking advantage. Toycat, seriously, why doesn't Toycat just flood the chunks? It's a lot faster than any of the spawn-proof methods available to him. It allows for boat travel, and you can put mobs in boats too. So, okay, first of all, by the way, 5 years since the last Toycat tax. Still called that, says Stefano Lee. There's no way it's been 5 years, Stefano Lee. I don't believe that. It is still called the Toycat tax, though. Good job on being up-to-date in your terminology. So I could just use the infinity bow to kill zombies, effectively. If I wanted to. Would be a valid use of it. Would get some good rewards in exchange. The reason I'm mining out slime chunks is because it looks kind of cool. I could later flood them if I wanted to. But I think if I do... Actually, wait. Should we go for something crazy? Okay, here's an idea. If I could build, like, big underwater tunnels. Yeah, I kind of like your boat idea a lot. But I don't want to flood the surface. I think that's crazy. I think I want to flood below the surface. I think I want to build big, deep tunnels that connect this whole world underground. I think that's what I want to do. I think that's a really good idea that I've just stumbled into here. I'm so happy he's doing this semi-hardcore. The stream started to get to me. I want to make my own Dubai chocolate. You know, you should. You can. We could actually, if we wanted to, right? We could just raise the entire world by a block. Except for areas we don't want to. So the slime chunks could stay down. It's not the craziest of ideas, right? There's not that many blocks in here. And if we're digging out a whole water network underneath it. Honestly, I think this is the craziest idea that I've come up with, but I think I want to do it. I'll trial out a water route that goes from, say, here to, like, there or something. I'm going to trial out the most basic of water routes underground. And if it goes well, maybe that's a sign that we should try out some more. So flood the surface, Toycat. I don't know what you're talking about. At least make a moat around your base. Okay, there's a lot of people in chat yelling at me to flood my world. I think that you might be underappreciating what it... Oh, how many downsides there are to that. That could have been the death of me, chat. Yeah, I think there's a lot of downsides to that you guys aren't realizing. Like, I see what you're saying, though. Instead of flooding underneath the world here on the bedrock, if I flood the surface, I'd have to... But then I'd have to build above it. I guess that raises the question, is it easier to dig a tunnel below the ground? Or just to flood the surface of my world? Yeah, I see the argument it'd be easier to flood the surface. Also, no iron. I got really lucky earlier with iron, and I've been quite unlucky since. So, any skeletons, which you can shoot from here. Gold armor zombie, I think I actively don't want. Like, he's going to be harder to kill, and he's going to give me inventory clutter. I just don't want inventory clutter. However, skeletons over there, let's shoot them both. I want to be accurate of these arrows. They don't seem to care. Unexpected. Oh, it's a skeleton over there. Okay, so we're using the infinity bow because it gives us an infinite number of arrows. And we're using it to get arrows so that we can have arrows. Hope that makes perfect sense, chat. I don't have a sword right now, but getting some of these would be pretty nice. Man, spiders are the worst mob to hit. So let's just go over here. Let's shoot this fella. Hey, Pez!
For the tax / lobster or toy cat tax. Loving the series.
Thank you very much. Yeah, for road tax, is that in reference to the buying a car? Is that what you're up to there, Pez? Thank you very much. I'm glad you're loving the series. I hope you're looking forward to today's longer than normal episode. It's a fun, silly, goofy time in all the best ways. So yeah, there's 3 pigs here. I think we should just take the pigs home with us, maybe. I definitely want to fight that skeleton. Oh, did I miss him? I think I did. Yeah, I hit the wall instead. So yeah, this daytime darkness is really good for finding mobs to hit in the short term. It has lots of downsides in the long term, of course. Oh, good hit by me there. Yeah, lots of long-term downsides. But in the short run, I'm getting myself lots of arrows and a really good time. And yeah, I think we're going to take these pigs home with us. Like, we're going that way anyway, right? So we might as well pick up some friends for the journey. Yeah, it's a decent bet. Chat, what do you think? YouTube just notified me about a video on YouTube called How to Make Dubai Chocolate from someone I'm not subscribed to. That would be next level, like, YouTube AI. Like, transcript a video live, work out what he's talking about, use said thing that he's talking about to promote another video. You know, welcome to the future of so. Actually, chat, can I do a real talk with you for a second? I'm starting to become a little bit spooked at the internet. I think that, you know, if I could lay my biases down on the table, I've long said that I think that, you know, like, if we need to use the simplified American labels, liberal and conservative, I think like being like artsy and liberal and all the things like that is really good for starting a business, but not so good for running it. And I think being conservative is really good for running a business, but not so good for starting one. And I think that like most social media for a while has been run by, you know, somewhat conservative thinkers. I think it became obvious with that one particular website, but Otherwise, not so much. And I think that since social media has been, as you know, like, I would say YouTube is to the least extent, but still is very much the same. But since, like, social media has become very much about grow the profits first, think about other things later, I think it's let us... So that guy has a bone. He's got a bone to pick with me.
Random message salmon and lemon
Hey,
cookie Las
thank
Vegas
you.
chocolate toy cat tax.
Honestly, Las Vegas does need to make its own chocolate. You need to up your branding as a city. Absolute mess up that you haven't yet. Okay, I'm just going to shoot this guy with my infinity bow. Perfect. 2 bones. Love to see it. And then we're going to go right back to close to the spawn. And we could test out a little boataway around here somewhere. I like the idea of just flooding everything and being able to swim across it. But it does seem very tricky. Like, we'd have to make a defined area where the water starts and stops. I guess here could be a good test for it. Like, here... outwards, maybe? Let's test it for now. Let's put a bunch of blocks in here. And let's just start flooding a giant area. Against all good intuition. And then later we'll build up above it. So there's a boataway underneath. And then there's the thing above it all. Yeah, above the daytime darkness. Oh, above the daytime darkness is an interesting place to build a boat. Yeah, that'd be extra interesting to do the layers that way. But yeah, basically what I can do here is if I put a block there, and I get a source here, and I put a source there, and now it's gonna just like infinitely create sources. It's really, really easy to make somewhere sources if you have it boxed in on one side, like I do right here. And so just like this, every time I do it, the water gets much broader on each side. But yeah, I think I might be able to just do like 1 here and it'll... No, I can't. Yeah, chat, I really like Dubai chocolate, I have to say. I tried some and I was like, oh man, yeah, this is the good stuff. Hits the spot exactly. But yeah, you know, was that super chat to get me talking about food? Because man, do I love me some lobster rolls. But yeah, Pez38, what's your username in the chat? I don't see you in here. I'm curious. Also, XYF finally made a stream. It's quiet for me. Not sure if it's for everyone else. Happy stream. I'll talk louder just for you, Pez. Google Dubai chocolate in my area. Apparently I can get it. Did you get the real thing or a knockoff? I got a version by Lint. It was pricey, I'll concede. But I think it's all a knockoff. I think it's one of those things that wants to vibe like it's a brand or something like that. But I think it's all a knockoff in that sense. And so you can't... If it's all a knockoff, none of it's a knockoff, right? Yeah, if I flood this whole area, chat, then there's no coming back from it. I can't unflood the area. You know, every time I place one of these, I'm creating a huge problem for future Toy Cat. If I decide I don't like this. So I think I should make this a really narrow stretch for now. Like, later I can expand it, but... Yeah, I think that's what we have to do. Like, a long stretch in one direction. And see where that goes well. But for now, let's go to sleep. Maybe get a few bones as well. Yeah, let's go for a few bones. I'll do some bone meal magic in the meantime. These have already grown, of course, and these have already grown. But it only takes 1 bone meal to get some of these crops to fully grow up, and so it's a good use of resources. Look around us. I see a few skeletons. And yeah, I think just continuously growing this is just the priority. There's no point growing the pigs until, you know, like we're gonna do it very slowly. Because at one point I just want to get it all done within like 2 or 3 breeding waves, or like 4 or 5 breeding waves. Right now the throughput limiter is the carrots and not anything else, and so I should act like it is. That creeper is a problem. I could just shoot the creeper with the infinity bow though. It's the wonderful thing about having this, is a lot of my problems just go away. Is the creeper still there? Yes, he is. So if I jump along these... Okay, go. Go. No. Okay. Now that the creeper's dead, I can't sleep still because there's monsters nearby. So we move the monsters not nearby. Hopefully that is as easily said as it is done. Or done as it is said. And then very quickly we get the mobs out there, and we jump, and we jump, and we jump, and we jump, and we try to get back into the bed. No! Doesn't count. Ugh, frustrating. And now I'm trapped in a hole with lots of things that are, okay, not fun, not fun, not fun. So now I just try to get them all away, and I'll run all the way around the edges, and I'll get it done that way. So yeah, chat, I think I'm going to make a big boataway that way, and I'll make it in one direction, see if I use it, and then if I don't, I'll get rid of it. The audio is definitely quieter and hard of hearing, so I'm not getting much right now. All good, though. Yeah, the easiest solution, I know, okay, so the easiest advice, and I know you've probably thought of this, it's the same as saying turn it off and turn it on again, and that I know it's frustrating if you have thought of this, but there is a chance that you have not, and so I have to mention it. If you ever own a YouTube video that's too quiet, the easiest solution seems like it is, oh god damn it. Should I just make another bed? No, they're pricey. I can't just make another bed. Okay. So, yeah, the easiest, oh, there's no mob here anymore. It seems so easy to think about, but you can turn up your device audio, and it doesn't matter how loud I am. Like, if I'm too quiet, but the game is the same volume relative to me, it doesn't matter how quiet me and the game are. If we're both the same noise, then you can just turn us both up. And most devices have audio settings. I know there are some, like, if you have a laptop with really rough integrated speakers, I know that doesn't work. And so for some people, that's going to be the most frustrating advice. But I guarantee for 90% of people who think that something is quiet, just thinking like, oh, I can just turn up my device because it's great. Like, I have, I use a TV that doesn't have a volume switch, chat, or it does, but it's like only a manual volume switch. It doesn't work on a remote. And the volume level is really annoying. Like, I have to use it somewhere between 5 and 9%. 9 is deafening and 5 is too quiet. And 7 and 8 feel exactly like 9, and 6 feels basically the same as 5. It's like, I don't understand how the audio is working, but it's rough. And so I would like it if YouTube, because YouTube is too loud on 5 or on 9, and everything else is too quiet on 5. So I would like it if YouTube videos could just, you know, quiet down a bit, or if you know, other videos could loud up a bit, I guess. So I am going to feed some pigs now. Just when we have spare carrots after a breeding wave, we might as well. Witness the joy, enjoy the joy. Yeah, I'm on max right now. It's very tinny though, so it hasn't changed much. Very sorry to hear that. Okay, so we're gonna put these here, and then we're also gonna have the water go right up to the edge. Yeah, we might as well, right? Just all the way here. And now this chunk will be forever flooded, and it will forever become a part of the new boataway, and everyone loves a good boataway in their worlds. Okay, so as many blocks as I put this way will now flood out this way. Ads on YouTube are deafening. Yeah, so that's a good example, in my opinion, of what I was talking about when I was trying to make the point about businesses being run by one type or another. So I think that social media has gone to the point where they're extracting value from consumers rather than providing value and then hoping for value later. And that's all. A lot of people don't understand that's how businesses need to work, right? Like, you need to have profit in a business for people to want to start the business. The only reason that someone spent millions, literally tens of millions, on making YouTube videos HD when there was no money to be made on YouTube was because they thought to themselves, maybe one day we'll make money from this, right? And so if you tell people then that you can never make money, then, you know, they're not going to make decisions like that. YouTube could have never appeared if people hadn't decided, let's make a loss for a really long amount of time so that one day we might make some money. But also on the other end, now we've gotten to the point where a lot of services, I think YouTube isn't the worst for this. I think, if I'm being honest, Twitter is the worst for this. But, you know, like, a lot of services have gotten to that point now where they're like, yeah, I think that making money should be the most important decision. And it's really easy to tell people who work at a business making money is, if not the #1 priority, it should be up there. In the same way, it's easy for me to tell, like, any of you watching this stream, hey, getting a job is important. Because, you know, it is. I think everyone understands the importance of money, but in, like, a warped way. I think having ads be louder than YouTube is a decision that makes advertisers slightly more money in the short run, and so advertisers can pay YouTube slightly more in the short run. But in the long run, it's really, really bad, actually. I think in the long run, if you worsen the YouTube experience, they're opening the door more readily for competition. Or even if not competition from like Netflix or Hulu or whatever else people watch, because I think YouTube is the biggest source of streams. Also, Andrew Andrews made a good video about this. He was walking around a cruise ship and yelled, "It's fucking insane." That sounds like a crazy guy. Having a source of income is important. You don't say good sir, says Hell's Assistant. I know. I have this crazy hot take that I'm going to share with you right now. Money is good. You can use it to buy used cars in the corner of leisure center parking lots if you want to. But yeah, I gotta eat meal-free BRB, says Droxada. Very beautiful name to describe dinner. Big fan of that. Yeah, I think a lot of people... I think it's really easy to misunderstand long-term value. Yeah, I think that in particular with YouTube, there's a lot of decisions that they should be making, and like for years they made decisions under this logic of like, do you know? I don't know if I'm exposing myself as a YouTube dinosaur here, but YouTube at one point gave a bunch of people like money to start channels just on the idea that maybe that'll improve production quality across the site. YouTube made a bunch of crazy decisions that don't make sense because they're like, but maybe it would be good. And statistically, 90% of them were dumb, but 10% of them were really smart. Like that's, you know, like you have to roll the dice in business. If you think about it, every video I ever make is me rolling the dice. I think I'm like very aware of this on like a. If you don't know, the way I receive my income is I get paid when people watch videos on this channel. And because I am paid roughly per watch, it's sort of based on watch time, but like per number of views is still by far the most important metric. If I pick a video topic that lots of people want to watch, it's good. If I pick one that lots of people don't want to watch, I make less money that day. And you know, because there's like fixed costs to making videos because I have editors, like I can make a loss some days. But so like I have to make the prediction about what will go well and what won't go well. And as long as I'm making more swing hits than misses, or my hits are big enough that I can afford the misses, it's great. But you'd be wrong to look at the business and say, well, the misses are worthless. Because some of those misses might lead to the hits. Some of those misses might... Yeah, anyway, so anyway, my whole thing here is to say that YouTube, I think that if it doesn't realize as a platform that having... Like, I think one of the most important things that social media has given up on recently is being a force for net good in the world. And the reason I mention that is a big deal is because here's something weird, right? I think that using your phone, or at least social media, but I think, let's say phone use more broadly, is starting to be viewed a little bit like how smoking was viewed in the early days of, you know, like before it was like widely banned. If you're in Europe, it's still like pretty common in some places, but like, you know, like I think if you live in, you know, the UK, if you live in like Australia, Canada, if you live in the Anglosphere somewhere, statistically a lot of you do. I think smoking is something you don't do. Okay, wow. Punchy. I think smoking is like a very, weirdly, because it's so expensive, it's like a low-income behavior, right? And the reason it's like that is because like it's very bad for you. Like horrendously bad for you. But even deeper than that, it's like, it's this thing that is horrendously bad for you, and you know, like it's seen as like a low status, and you know, like I think that in general, like if you think about like gym memberships, they're expensive. Like if someone is like going to the gym every day, no offense, but they have money. The only people I know who go to the gym every day are like not wildly rich actually. Like, you know, they're earning well above the national average salary. But like, you know, there's something about like having time to look after yourself is like a treat, if you ask me. You know, whether that should be true or not is an interesting thing. Whether it's been true since the start of time, and you know, whether that's a deeper sociological thing or whatever it is, interesting debate. Not going to get into it. But I think that using it, like giving a phone to an infant, overthinking and anxiety are massive menaces to my society. Also, you missed my last tip. Sorry to hear that. I also missed the tip from Maku Craft, who says you should try playing without natural regen and without sleep nights in hardcore. It's really challenging and fun. I think that's a fun idea. Let's do it. Let's put everything to the max challenge difficulty and see how that goes. Also, it's $10 to $20 a month for some gyms. Oh yeah, like you can go to. I've known loads of people going to cheap gyms, but weirdly, even the people I know going to cheap gyms are actually like, you know, still pretty well off. Like, you could maybe put it down to like a psychological thing that like the more you think about the future and the more you plan for your future, statistically the more money you will save versus spend, right? The more you'll think about the, you know, it blew my mind as a kid that when we were talking about careers in school, that the number one figure they wouldn't tell you about is the money. It's like, we're deciding what we're gonna do for a job, right? We're not deciding like, you know, like, oh, what's our legacy and our impact gonna be? We're deciding what we want to do for financial remuneration. Tell us the numbers. You know, when I told my, you know, I wish when I told my, you know, careers guidance or whatever, I wanted to, you know, make video games, they just said, look, being a computer programmer can make you, you know, like 50, 60,000 a year. If you work in games, you make a third of that because they know it's your passion and, you know, like, there's just so many more game developers because there's way more people who want to do it. You know, I wish someone had been real with me about that because most people would rather make 3 times as much money if you think in the long run. But if you think in the short run, it's like, oh, I like making... I really like the idea of doing things that I love, etc., etc., etc. So you could maybe make some argument that, like, you know, like, maybe if you... For people who are willing to go past that advice, you have to be thinking long run. Like, to pick a job you don't like that pays more versus a job you like more that pays less. Or even a job that's easier or a job that is, you know, like, simpler or, like, easy. It requires less effort to get. Like, you know, the amount of work it takes to become a front desk employee somewhere is less than the amount of work that it takes to become a masseuse. Yeah, actually, yeah. To work at the front desk of massage parlor, takes less training than to work as a masseuse, and I think masseuses get paid more. I don't know if that's true. I have to imagine it is, right? And so maybe you could argue that there's like you know, you have to prioritize the future more to train to do the second. Even if you think about it, going to, you know, like going to school that isn't mandatory, so like university, I guess, that's like an insane level of thinking about the future. If you know that your job will pay more, but you're doing 3 years of education for it. Like, most people go because they think it's going to be fun, which sort of defeats some of the value. But like, you know, if you think about it as like a thing like that. So maybe that's like some of the argument there, I don't know. But I think there is a lot of like filtering out by that stuff. A gym membership is definitely self-care, and self-care is a luxury nowadays. Yeah, I agree. Well, I don't think it maybe should be. I think like it's a sad thing. But I have the cynical part of my brain that tells me even if it wasn't that way, I think it would be that way. If that makes any sense to anyone else. Like, I think, also, thank you! I love listening to your
I love listening to your live streams while I'm playing other games, but I'm not sure if that's just Minecraft's relaxing ambience or you in particular. Still waiting on that continuation of your Terraria Xbox 360 playthrough.
You know, well, I think we need to shock people one day and just do it. It is the logical thing to do. Also, trying to work as a disabled person in the UK right now is a nightmare, says IX. Yeah, it sounds so. It sounds like it, right? I feel like there's always whenever there's a talk about like ability, it's like really easy to accidentally find yourself thinking that like, you know, I feel like in a discussion about like, oh yeah, do you have the, you know, like, is smoking good for you? And it's like, maybe there are, for example, maybe there are some disabilities where smoking is really, really good. Or like, you know, what's another example of something that's bad for you? I think overeating is bad for most people. Like, if you eat three days of food worth in one day, I think I've had too many days where I've done this, right? It's like it's a terrible act that I've done to myself. But, like, that is bad for you to do. Like, to have 3 days worth of food as one meal. But then there are some disabilities, like, what's it called? Sleeping Beauty? Does anyone know the name of it? Where you literally, you fall asleep for 72 hours at a time, and then you wake up ravenous, and then you fall asleep like hours later. If you have that, you really need to eat 3 days of food at a time, or you're gonna die. Yeah, return to your Skyrim playthrough and think of the shock value. I wonder if I still have that save file, actually. I think it'd be fun to play. I think it'd be very fun. I'd have to go and watch my series back, just to, like, make sure. But it would be very good. Okay, so we're sticking to this now, by the way, chat. We're going big on it. I don't have a boat yet. I think I should craft one. I think I've got enough pale oak that a boat would go well for me. Also, I can use this as my fishing pond, worst case. You know, if this is absolutely no value to me, I can just use it as a nice little pool of water. Is that a thing? 3 days of sleeping? Oh yeah, it is. I don't know what it's called, chat. Do you know what it is? But yeah, so it's like, I think, I always want to be clear when I talk about stuff like this, that like, I also, the even more complicated thing is, we talk about disability as if it's a binary on-off thing, right? But actually, you know, like, there are people who identify, to avoid sketchy language, there's people who identify as disabled, and there are people who identify as fully abled. But like, it's not like almost every human trait is a, we like to believe it's a binary on or off, but it's an analog spectrum. There's a, you know, if there is someone who has, I don't know, if someone has, you know, I'll use autism because it's famously known as the spectrum one. There are people who say they are autistic, and there are people who are 100% not autistic. I refuse to ever use the phrase neurotypical, chat. But anyway, if you know, if we have those two phrases, I think it's the same as like creating the phrase cisgender, right? Like we're really good at, we can say something or not something. We don't have to create a word for both ends of the spectrum, right? We can say that one spectrum is just not the other end of that spectrum. It's so much easier than having to create two words for something. Like, imagine if we said that there's red, and instead, you know, like there's a color. It's like when something's red or really not red, and instead of not red, you had to be like, it's blurple. Blurple is the default color for when something isn't red. And it's like, no, that's crazy. It's red, or it's another color, or it's no color at all. It's not red, or you know, it's white. I guess would be no color at all. It's filling rows at a time. Yeah, so. It's very, very easy to make a lot of this all at once. So now let's eat one more of these. Push this just a little further that way. I think we will just go all the way to the edge on this. And then we'll make this a T-junction where we could go multiple directions. Later I might remove this dirt behind me. But I just want to make sure we go as far as we can without breaking things. I think that is as far as I can go without breaking things. Look at my new Olympic-length swimming pool, chat. Do you like it? I do have autism as it sucks. So like, imagine that spectrum, right? Where you say there is an autistic person and an autistic person. There is like someone... Oh, hey, Wandering Trader! I see my discussion of the color red has attracted you. And, oh god, he's got the worst trades every time. I could buy some birch logs from him. Or I can sell him fermented spider eyes or baked potatoes. Can you get some better trades, please? I beg you. Just, why do you do it? Why do you do the things that you do? It really upsets me that you do things that way, Mr. Trader. I wish you would reconsider your position on this one. So I'll put my carrots away in this bundle here. And I think I might just punch his llamas to death now. No, I could use the bow, I guess. It's got infinity arrows for a reason, right? There we go. Easily dead. So now I'm going to punch him 19 times and put him in a corner somewhere. So I can put him in a corner somewhere first. So then we put a surface on the top there, and we break this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Now he dies in one hit, so as soon as he starts drinking a milk bucket, we make sure he can't. We could do that in the morning, if we get the right monsters. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll just get a monster to follow me around somewhere. Do it easily. I have to kill this guy today too. Because otherwise he'll just cause me issues. I don't want him to cause me issues. So I'll prevent those issues before they get good. Okay, so chat, I'm going to get ready to kill the piglins when they arise. I'm going to prep that now. So that if lightning strikes, I'm not like panicking about it. So I'm going to have water that's in one of these corners ready to go. The water's going to be right here. And all I have to do is break one of these blocks. And it will start flowing out and doing its thing. Actually, I should put it one block higher up. No, that would mess things up. No, if I just... Okay, I'll put this one block higher up. So we'll put the water here. And then surrounding it, we put like a little dirt wall. Yeah, and now the water will flow out. The pigs won't be able to get out. But they'll all be pushed into this corner here. Which is conveniently where I'll have my little hidey hole. So I'll be able to stand down on these blocks. And I'll be able to... I'll put trapdoors or something there. And I'll be able to punch the feet of the piglins. I could make wooden swords if I have wood by that point. But I'm not going to guarantee that I do. Whew, nice. Neurotypical and neurodivergent are just umbrella terms for moderately regular brain and brain of silliness. It's a bit silly, but it works. I think it is... Again, I think every word you're allowed to say you find useful if you want to, right? I think that's like... no one can take away your right to enjoy a word. Except me. I'll do precisely that all the time. But yeah, you didn't know you could do these. Sometimes you need some water and everything seems better. Always drink water, chat. You hear that? Always drink water. Especially Dasher. The rain is a sign that you need to drink water. If it starts raining... Oh. If it starts raining, it's just a sign you need to drink some water. If it's not raining, that's a sign you need to drink water even more. If you believe it. Whew. I feel more different than silly, says Caitlin. Yeah, exactly. That's the... I think the human experience is people who feel... Oh, wow. 2 pufferfish straight away. I think the fundamental thing about the human experience is how we all have it differently. Do you know, like, the fact that it is hard to relate on quite fundamental feelings you're having, right? Like, when you feel sad, you don't instinctively know that people have felt that exact type of sadness that you are feeling right now before. Like, you could probably logic to yourself that some people must feel it sometime. But, like, hearing that someone has gone through that is very good for most people. You're like, oh, it's not just me that, you know, sometimes thinks in the shower that everyone hates me. Like, goes through and works out, like, is that true? You know, it's not... I think hearing stuff like that is useful precisely because the human condition is so complicated and unique to individuals. So yeah, Also, I am going to just wait till I have a zombie. I hope that a baby zombie doesn't go and get that guy there. If he does, I'm screwed. So yeah, I need to get a zombie over there. Oh, that baby zombie's gonna wreck me. No, he's not. So I ideally want to have a zombie with some armor on. Oh, that's a zombie riding a zombie. So I'm gonna move my bed closer to the oh god. Gonna move my bed closer to the villager. I mean the NPC villager. I mean the wandering trader. He's not dead yet, and that's a great sign. So just check that there's not a baby zombie after me. Of course there is. It's always a baby zombie. So we'll just... Oh, it's another one. So neither of these guys can survive. If they do, I am so boned, chat. Where'd he go? Oh. He's a riding guy. Oh, that whole bow is gone now. Okay, where are you running now? Where... Are you running to a pig? That is the worst behavior I could imagine. So we just need to wait for another mob to spawn around here somewhere. I think it has to be a zombie too. I don't think it works if it's just a spider. And it can't be that baby zombie. It has to be another zombie of some form. So yeah, my life has gotten complicated, chat. But hopefully not so complicated that I die. There we go, 2 zombies. I'm going to sleep right now. They're going to mess up the guy. And then the moment he... Go, 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 go. Where are you? So he's going to drink an invisibility potion, right? Do you not see them? Do you really not see them? What is wrong with you? How do you not see them? What do you mean? He's burning on fire next to you. Drink an invisibility potion, please. Okay, I have no idea what's wrong with this wandering trader. He doesn't know what nighttime means. He's not fearful of it. So I'm gonna leave him in that box. You can get multiple wandering traders, so I don't need to kill him for the sake of killing him. Although I probably should kill this skeleton guy. Yeah, I think it makes sense to kill him. Although if there's creepers after me, we don't need to. Let's go craft a boat. Let's go enjoy my new boat first of all. That is the most important thing, chat. I think a new boat comes first. Everything else comes second. So yeah, this little wheat area is obviously going to need to expand. I think I might just like move it this way a bit. And actually, I think it'd probably have to go this way more. It's less dug in anyway. So let's go this way by a few blocks. Just have more area for growing crops. Because I think I want to have a lot of wheat so I can have a lot of, what's the word? Mud bricks. I have mud brick plans. And clearly I need to build those out. I'm going to run out of space for seeds, sure. Yep, that's okay. But if we get more wheat growing, then I'll get more stuff eventually. I like the wheat kind of forced you to harvest some of it too. Or like it forced you to like keep some of your gains. That's a nice little touch of it. The seeds and the wheat, it'll keep me less insane. Make me feel like I'm making progress while I'm making progress, if you know what I mean. Okay, we've got our boat now, chat. Was this worth it? Was this the decision of the decade? If only the Wandering Trader sold obsidian, it would be a game changer. Oh yeah, if he sold lava buckets even, I'd be able to use that the same way. Okay, so this is my new boataway. Look at this, chat. I can get around my world slightly faster. And yeah, what I could do is I could flood the surface and then build above the superflats only blocks that are half slabs or regular slabs, I guess, technically. Remember, fellow wifeys, coffee drinking lesbians, it's been confirmed by our husband. Also, we're coffee. I think you missed an apostrophe. Also, my laughter is contagious. Yeah, if you believe it, I was told that in school once. I remember, even by, you know, girls that I assumed didn't particularly like me. I was like, yeah, your laugh sounds like Dr. Hibbert. You laugh when I want to laugh. And some could say that that is the whole reason I'm here on YouTube today. I think you'd be ignoring a lot of the steps in the meantime, but you know, still, some would say it anyway, and those some people do exist. So I'll take out these carrots now, and I'll just feed them to the pigs. I think we want to be sure. We are starting to get to the point where we might just have a really good carrot harvest one day, and it might just end up with, hey, 2 more carrots. That's 2 more pigs. I don't know how to keep track of how many pigs we have though, chat. Like, without killing them. There's probably 30 pigs in there, and I need 180. 180 might be slightly too few, slightly too many, but I want to... Slightly overestimating is better than slightly underestimating. But normal can be used in context. Nobody is normal in the big picture, obviously. But in those circumstances, you're normal or not normal. Yeah, I think... I remember one of the biggest, like, one of the first internet, like, lashings I got was when I said, it was on some forum, again, like, keep in mind in, like, 2001, I was like, there was, like, a debate about, like, I think I used the phrase, like, normal to describe not gay, and people were like, whoa, you can't imply that normal is not gay, because gay is perfectly normal too. And it's like, okay then, what is the word that we use to describe average at that point? Because, you know, there is like, I think any word that gets, like, popular enough in describing its thing, I guess any word that gets popular enough being used in a way that some people aren't going to like is always going to create some problems, right? I think it's like an issue as old as time. Oh, shouldn't have put that there. I don't know how I put that there. Isn't there a carpet? Why doesn't anyone like the term normal? Why add negative connotations to something not negative? I feel the same way about the phrase like idiot, right? Or like the R slur, the one that might get you banned from some places. I don't say it out of respect for people who don't want to say it, but I also think that we give that word the power. The moment a word becomes mass used, it stops referring to the, I don't know how to describe that any better. Like, okay, let's say tomorrow, right? We started using autistic, and we stopped using it to describe people who have a particular condition in terms of how they think, and instead we started using it to describe, like, I don't know. Let's pick something really out there. Like, we used it to describe big businesses that are thinking short term, not long term. You know, like I was saying, like, you know, like using cigarettes is like considered like, oof, not good for you, because self care is like a rich person thing, and like the best self care you can do is not poisoning your lungs. My version of that is like, yeah, now we're starting to see social media the same way, because a lot of executives are coming together. Let's say we describe shareholder value. If you're someone who like seeks shareholder value in the short term at the cost of your long-term business, let's call that autistic. Just to pick a behavior that no one's going to think I'm being offensive with, right? Like, oh man, that autistic executive of that company. The moment we start using it to describe that, we've picked a new meaning for that word. We could choose not to pick a new meaning for that word. We could pick a new word entirely. But you don't get to decide how people choose a word. The moment people have used their word for that, you've done it. I think, and so I think that the moment we stop using a word, like you know the word right now, pretty? If I use the word pretty, I'm implying something looks good. But let's say the word pretty instead gets used to describe vomit. It's like, man, I had a pretty last night. You know, I went pretty. Let me tell you, I had a few too many bevies, and I got a little pretty. The floor got plenty pretty, let me tell you. Then, like, you wouldn't be like, no, that's wrong. You can't describe. It's wrong to describe that as pretty, because pretty has the connotation. You know, like I think there's. I'm picking really insane hypotheticals here. But like there is stuff like this that happens all the time. To the point where you might not know what the old definition of the C word is. Or the... I think the F words actually stay pretty consistent over history. But a lot of, like, do you know what gay means, chat? Do you know what gay actually means? Like, not in your, like your weird worlds. But being gay just means being happy. Even as recently as the 60s. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I read a lot of books growing up, and they were all from, like, they were the books my parents read, or my aunts and my parents, I guess my mother and her sisters read as children, right? So I guess that would have logically been the 70s even, but I think they were old books at the time. So like, these are books from the 50s, 60s, Enid Blyton's like original run. And so I was reading these like books, and they would just make all sorts of references to like fanny and gay, and it's like, so Kat, please, can we talk about literally anything else? Yeah, if just for you, Dasher, I shall concede. But yeah, I think words change, and I think that people. Also, as a Scot, we can use any word to describe being drunk. Yeah, I'm amazed at how many different like, there are some words that literally don't make sense. It's only the context that makes them make sense. And I think that you can use any word. You could say I got door framed last night, and if you say it in the right context, everyone immediately knows what you mean. Yeah, I feel like we didn't go anywhere controversial in that one, chat. I think we nailed that. I personally, I didn't even see. No one in chat got on their righteous thing of saying like, "Oh yeah, just so you know, this is my line." If I was to say like, "Oh, just so you know, this is it," like one of the things about social media, just on a slightly different topic here. One of the reasons that I think social media is getting worse is because it is becoming because it's starting to become like a. Like a bad sign that you're on it. One of the negative effects of social media becoming not self-care, not a nice space to go into, but a place that you're addicted to and you go despite the consequences, right? I think one of the downsides of that is that so much more of the internet. People have been talking about the dead internet theory for a while. The idea that there's so much AI on the internet now that you can't find genuine human interactions anymore as easily. And there's like some truth to that. But I think there's so many more people on the internet. Maybe I'm just like, my algorithm has gotten really wacky, as maybe this is like a sign I need to go to a doctor. Cited for CUI, chatting under the influence. But yeah, I think Fanny is also a legitimate Scottish name and clearly has no other meaning. Do you know any Fannies? Cat Fanny? Sorry. It's fun. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a zombie. We're gonna wait until he drinks invisibility, and we'll sleep only after that happens. I've got some salmon I shouldn't have out here. I'll eat some raw beef. You need to die so that someone can replace you. And I'm sorry about that. I kind of like the idea. Oh, pale moss, chat. Can you use pale moss like you can use regular moss? Let's find out right now. I might have made a horrible mistake. But worst case, it's still a pretty decent mistake, right? Oh, chat. Oh, no, you don't get trees, though. You just get moss. Okay. Well, it's still useful to get, I guess. I'm glad I got it. If the alternative was not getting it. So there's a lot of skeletons over there. I'm just going to despawn them and head over here. They should all go away. And then that zombie should freak out my villager real bad. What's wrong with him? Why does he not have a... Did I steal all of the invisibility potions from the villagers? Oh my god, he's being so obtuse. Do I have to let him roam free? What is it? Why won't he? Yeah, chat, I think I've got a dud villager. I think I've got a dud wandering trader. He legitimately doesn't get it. Shall I let him go free? Oh, I think I might have to. Yeah, that's my idea. I'll run all the way out, all the way in. I'll let him roam free. And then, because like, right now I'm getting nothing from him. So a chance of him dying in exchange for something is worth it. There's a singer called Fanny Lumsden here in Australia. It says, end me. I hope no one ends you. My employer issued a survey where they solicited gender and provided all the options except male and female, so I should respond non-binary and threw off the validity of the survey, says Jeff. I mean, I think that's a really interesting thing of its own right. But I think that's an example of a subject where no. What is wrong with you, wandering trader? How do you? Okay, it's fine. It's fine. I was expecting nothing from it anyway, and so when I got nothing, it was exactly as much as I was anticipating. I think I'm gonna make myself a wooden sword. I don't have much left, but I'm hoping the next wandering trader gives me better. Although now I can't buy a sapling from the next guy. I think I did kind of mess that up. Yeah, I kind of messed it up. But I'll make a sword. Oh, I could have just used my bow, but... So what do we get? We got redstone, which can go in my little thing. And I got sticks, which are nice. It's kind of cool that you can farm sticks that way. I should keep that in mind instead of using other stuff. So yeah, we can get a bunch of pale moss now, chat. I don't know what to do with this information. I'll get rid of some of this grass because it might mess me up. And then I like the idea of like pale mossifying one of these chunks. So like we could put the pale moss in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or we could make it into carpets, right? I think these carpets won't have mob spawning on them. So we could take these blocks here and specifically use them as mob proofing, which is handy, I think. Worst case, it adds variety to my world. What does Fanny mean? Aubrey's search history 2024. Oh, you don't know either bad meaning of Fanny? And so you know that's Aubrey. That is a sign. Oh, I like this look. Maybe I'm the old one. You know, again the thing that really the thing I'm not emotionally better from, chat, is like whether this was fake or not, I don't care. But the fact that it could be described as real was someone being like, oh yeah, I was grading papers and one of my students described something that happened in 1996 as happening in the 1900s, and I was like, whoa, I was born in the 1900s. We're a quarter of the way through the 2000s, right? Like we are like if you're born in the 90s, chat, you know, the 1900s as it now is, it's nuts. It's a scary long time ago now. You should feel old. I was fully expecting just for you, Dash. We'll continue this conversation and never stop. You know, yeah, what I should have done, the correct response would have been like, you know what? You're saying to stop, but really stop has lots of meanings, depending on the language. You know, I could have gone down one of those trains. But thankfully I did not. Okay, so it means arse in America, not here. I'm an American, so we say kitty over here. I've never heard someone say kitty, and well, I have, but I assume they were joking when they said it that way. But yeah, fanny means something different in the UK than America. Every now and it's weird actually. I think. Okay, I'm gonna have a deep conversation on culture for a second. I think that fundamentally we have a problem, which is with the concept of moving from nation to nation. The world has gotten smaller, which is really good for bringing people together in lots of circumstances, but it also means we brought lots of different cultures together, which is also entirely fine when people are chill and respectful or whatever. As my first book, and it's got a lot of interesting things on. But right, if we have like the second level thought, if you think about how distinct like British and American cultures were, but like for a country that came out of another country, in like the 1900s, there's a lot of like huge differences in how the countries were run and their and I feel like in the last 20 years, the advent of the internet kind of means that now if you just take the UK and the US, we're always going to be closer as countries. And that's broadly a good thing, I would say. But when two countries are at very similar levels of, like, you know, when two countries are that friendly at very similar levels of income, you know, like, if I could times 10 my salary, or let's say divide by 10 my living costs, and have the same salary and a higher quality of life, then I would, you know, like, I think almost everyone would move to America. I think the only reason a lot of people don't is because America doesn't have the healthcare system we have in the UK, and it's like, I think legitimately, we would have lost 1 million more people in the last 20 years in the UK, just on the healthcare thing alone. I think guns, healthcare, they're like the two big reasons why, even if people look at their salary and realize they'd make more in America, they wouldn't. Sorry, I went down such a rabbit hole there. My point was to say that as cultures get closer via the internet, it means that there is some amount of, like, you know, most Americans see themselves as American now, which is impressive, given they moved there 3 to 5 generations ago. Like, some Americans are newer than that. But, like, the majority of Americans were born 3 to 5 generations ago. But you don't have any amount of your German left in there, right? You don't have any amount of I think Italians, Irish people, and some weird British people, no offense, but if you're British in America and you're overly British about it, like 2 generations in, that's strange. I think it would be strange if an American moved to the UK and like 2 generations later, they were still like, oh, but I miss Walmart. You know, I don't know, I would think that was strange. Anyway, I think that the pace of, like, the distance between countries used to mean, like, yeah, you basically get no idea what's going on back home. You're making a big radical decision to be here. Whereas, like, you know, as you might have seen me prove at some point in this channel's history, it's really easy you could spend half your life in Australia and half your life in the UK. Literally, countries, I have a friend who's going through that right now. He's like, I'm going to live the rest of my life in one of these 2 countries, and until I decide, I'll just live between the 2 countries. And it's like, it's on the other side of the planet, and you can just decide that. And in the 1950s, I have one of my great uncles, I guess they might be. They moved to Australia, and my granddad has never seen him again. Like, he moved there in the 60s, and he's never come back. Right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, moving continent was a generational commitment. Now it's a commitment of as little as you know, even if you're moving someone to live, like, it is a very common thing for people to return home every year to visit their family. Now it's less of a commitment, and then we have the cultural factor, which means that if you want to, let's say my family are in Sri Lanka. You know, I am partially Sri Lankan. I think I do have Sri Lankan family, but they They come to the UK once every 5 years or something. That works out well. He gave me £5 the last time I saw him, so I have a high opinion of him. Side note, that's like, I wish I'd have told more adults in my life when I was a 12-year-old that money was my love language. I wish I'd understood that. I'd have so much. So many adults would have loved to have buy my affection.
If there was Atlantis, it would be a cultural mix of the UK and the US. Haha.
Well, okay, you say that as a joke, Josh Jones, but look about 1,000 kilometers east of Atlanta or the Carolinas. You'll find there's an island there. You'll find that island is basically the closest thing you can get to halfway between the US and the UK. Bermuda drives on the left side of the road. They have like Lucozade and all these other like famous British brands. It's British license plates and signs and everything, but they are so American. It's weird. It's just by nature of geography, it's kind of like the reverse thing of what I'm just mentioning. Yeah, I think like if I wanted to just move to Sri Lanka, I would be able to stay pretty in touch in what's happening in the UK just by following the London subreddit or the United Kingdom subreddit. I would still get British. I would get random YouTube shorts recommended to me of like, what good food is eating in London, what like big events that happened here, etc. Like also I think that is still able to spawn slimes because it's crazy if so, but I think that is what's happening here. And I think that like really messes with the concept of being able to leave one nation and join it. Oh god, no. No. Oh god. Okay. Didn't go poorly for me. There's slimes everywhere now, all of a sudden though, right? That is kind of strange. I mean, I guess I never dealt with this chunk here in the way that I probably should have dealt with this chunk here. But still, it's very strange. I moved to England. I moved from England to Scotland, and I was annoyed how often people expect me to go home. I moved here because I like it better, says Pickled Witch. Yeah, I think that even though, obviously, as someone who likes where I live, I like the idea that I can move without having to move. Like there's some attraction that clearly appeals to people of that. I think if moving without actually moving is the standard, that kind of messes things up. Like, if you imagine someone moving from Russia to America. Imagine if you move from Russia to America, and then your primary, your big political interest, your vision was like, yeah, I think that we need to, the thing I will vote for, because this was a big thing in the 1960s in America. A lot of Irish people would vote for whichever president was good to Ireland. Even Joe Biden had to make some comments about how much he supports the Irish because he's got a big Irish vote in part of the world. It's a wild thing to me that is a thing. But imagine a Russian person being like, yes, I will vote for a candidate that helps good man Putin win more. That would be seen as rightfully treasonous. But if you moved from, if you moved from the US to Russia and advocated for the reverse, if you moved from somewhere else to America, pick a place, then it wouldn't be, right? If you just wanted to stay back with your home on the other side of the planet, we pick a developing country and make the same argument, it'd be rude for you to dislike that. But I feel like there is a problem in the world that is hard to resolve because it's so multifaceted. Maybe it's not even a problem. Maybe it's just we change what country means. I'd vote for gay rights, says Dasher. Do gays not have rights? Are you saying there's no gay rights in Russia? Why? I mean, that would explain why people look so miserable all the time. If you looked happy, you lose your rights. Ah, I get it. That's apologies for the offensive joke. I think Slavs know about Slav face. Dash is sitting here looking like this, going, ha ha. I'm pretty sure. I'm like 99% sure. There's a tiny twinge of a smile, followed by yes, that was funny. I can't do my Slav accent. Aha, yes, very funny. Good joke, Mr. Internet Cat. Now off to Gulag for you. Wrong opinion. Okay, so now let's go finish up the little platform we're working on. I am going to make sure I bring water with me, though. That's a very important thing. I need to bring water just on 2 trips, and then I don't need to worry about it again. Also, there's boots in there, but I don't need the boots, so it's no stress to me. Let's go bring our water out. But yeah, sadly, Russia doesn't. Oh, really? Yeah, today I learned. Again, there's so many things. Can I again? So, one of the weird things about that is I would say for the last 20 years, I said the UK and the US. Like, I heard someone. I overheard someone on a bus the other day being like, "Oh yeah, I used to play a lot of RuneScape, and there was just so many random Americans." And then every time I hear about Americans playing RuneScape, they're like, "Yeah, you just speak to so many random British people. You learn what Jaffa cakes are." You know, there was this huge cultural exchange that happened on the internet, and it's not actually just the US and the UK. Like, I think all of Europe and all of the United States and Canada, you know, North America, let's say, maybe even include a couple of Caribbean nations in there. I think all of Europe and all of the United States, all of North America, have kind of been on a path of moving towards what you call it friendship, call it mutual respect and trust. But whatever it is, like, the two continents have been moving together via the internet for a while, to the point where you're genuinely like, yeah, any other good country has this same, like, all the good countries in the world, and what you mean by that is, like, Western and Central Europe and North America, like, yeah, like, gay marriage is a thing, and, you know, you're allowed to, you know, you shouldn't get beaten if you walk down the street for your gender identity. Even on the, you know, like, the most extreme cases, people will say, like, yeah, I don't agree with your right to compel me to do something, but I agree with your right to do what you want in public, right? No one would say, ooh, the way you dress implies you do dodgy things behind closed doors, and therefore you deserve to be beaten up. You know, like, stuff like that is insane and far out there. So it's interesting to imagine, again, like, as Russia's at the edge of that, I could see how it's not. Also, literal tears in my eyes, that was brilliant. It sounds like I've nailed your reaction exactly, Dasha. I have understood exactly why happiness is viewed as a problem out there. Anyway, at different rates, there was a cultural exchange. The former Soviet republics taking longer. Yeah, I think that's an interesting point too, Jeff. I think Hungary isn't a former Soviet republic, but there's a little bit of, I think, yeah, east of the Iron Curtain, I would definitely say, and then particularly, like, you know, Ukraine is, like, just about joining the fold right now. They're joining it partially because, you know, we you know, we're that you know, there's another guy out there saying it's us or Ukraine, and we're like, well, you know, you've already been very clear that it's not you, so. But I think, like, Ukraine's just about joining the Western fold right now. But yeah, there was this huge, like, movement of, like, yeah, we are all on the same page about most things. Like, yeah, individually, country to country, we'll disagree about, you know, is there an inheritance tax? And, you know, like, ooh, what type of fish is tasty? You know, like, there are huge things like that. But there was, like, this broad movement towards both continents being on the same page about basically everything. You know, like, you might make fun of, like, oh, and British people have bad teeth, Americans have guns, French people don't like working, and they like setting things on fire because they don't like working. You know, there were jokes about it. We had differences, but it was like a movement in that same direction that I feel like has shattered. And I feel like I don't know that it will be put back together. And I feel like that was one of the biggest dividends of the internet. Was the accidental creation of something like that. So I'm gonna build just in the corner of the world here, little pond, just a place to store some water. I should actually build it closer to this, so I'll put it like here. Just a little pond. I'll fill that up more later. Don't get me started on inheritance tax. Still dealing with my late grandmother's estate. I mean, I could play the card. I'm not gonna do it, Cat, but I'm gonna do it because I'm a devil's advocate. I could play the card of saying, well, you're in a good position to be dealing with inheritance tax if you have to be dealing with it. You know, because I think I think the actual struggle, if we really boil things down, one of the things that we've again, so even America with the hyper-capitalist love that some people have, I think that one of the things that puts us apart from, say, I don't know, like particularly like Gulf countries or like India or something like that. One of the things that I think, like, even the most conservative, like European or American would say, is like, yeah, at some point in the hierarchy, at some point in the system, you need to balance. Like, again, it's traditionally a left-wing thing to be really concerned about like certain types of like inequalities, but everyone agrees that at some point, if the money stacks up in too few hands, it's worse for everyone. Like it's worse for a billionaire if everyone else doesn't have more things to buy. It is like the reason that even if you think that we're in some camp, like I think one of the weirdest views that's become common recently is that everything is just bad now. That things are worse somehow than your parents' times. And I think the biggest reason is probably like houses. Like, but if you think about basically anything that's not, admittedly, very important fields, like health, housing, and education, things are like getting cheaper every year. If they're not getting cheaper every year, they stay the same price, and salaries and wages increases and stuff. Things are getting like broadly better year to year. It's awesome the way it works. But one of the things that you can't continue doing. Also, is there a video to this? Is Lego Show TV? There's not actually. I'm kind of like, I part of me is distressed about that. But I mean, actually, maybe there is a video today. Let me check for you. Yeah, I think to move away from my subject and just say, yeah, so just to make sure I finish it properly now so I don't have to come back to it midway through and confuse people. Yeah, everyone agrees that you can't, if you pile up too much money in too few hands, it's even worse for the people at the top. Even if you're a billionaire, there's a lot of left-wing billionaires out there that support greater distribution because it's better for business that way, but also it's better for a society in a lot of ways. Like, it's so at some point you have to like work out where that's going to be. Oh yes, the shitification. But yeah, people. I think because it's happening on the internet, people believe it's happening everywhere. People are like, oh yeah, you go to the store and mayonnaise, it costs the same amount and you get 20% less in a jar now. And it's like, yeah, or you pay, you pay 20% more for your mayonnaise, and you get okay, if you haven't tried Kewpie Mayo, chat, this is my recommendation. If you like mayonnaise at all, try Kewpie Mayo. It's it comes in it's like a Asian import usually, statistically. Maybe if you live in some places of a lot of Asian immigrants, it's just in the regular stores. I don't know. I live in somewhere with a lot of Asian immigrants, but it's well, not a lot of East Asian immigrants. So I don't find it in the stores. I have to go to the Asian stores. Kewpie Mayo costs like 3 times as much as, the mayo I bought as a kid, but it's so good. Like things are better. There are better things out there if you want to spend the money on them. Also, I've got 3 pigs here. Should I bring them back? No, let's not. There are great things out there if you want to spend the money on them. Or like rather, there's more choice, I should say, is why that's better. I think that just a better thing being more expensive is bad. But like, I think there are a lot of people who complain at stuff like, because I've been looking into buying a car recently, and people are like, man, back when I was young, a cheap car would be 10,000. Now the cheapest car, like 8,000 or something. Now the cheapest car, the cheapest insert same car here, it's 16,000 instead of 8,000. So it's doubled in price in 20 years. And they'll ignore the fact that like money has gone down in value, but also they'll ignore the fact, that the much more important fact, which is you're getting way more car. There's like the minimum car you're allowed to sell, legally speaking, has gone up, and so you get more car for the same money, and the same money is actually the same money. So it's like, yeah, that's awesome. Actually, that's a success story. But it's easy to you know, like secretly just... I think the easiest thing to actually want is like, you want things to be how they were when you were younger. I think the longer you can go in your life without hitting that point, the less cynical you'll be. But like, there are so many things that were better when you were younger. Probably not because the world was better, but because you were better. Or at least, you know, the local world around you was better. Like, have you ever heard insane people that say, I miss being in school? It's like, no, you don't miss being in school. You miss some part of that dynamic. Maybe you miss having to go to a box, like prison with your friends every day. You know, there are some prisoners who come out of prison saying they miss prison. But that doesn't mean that you should stab someone to go to prison for. Also, as says, I'm planning to get a driving license, and I stumbled across a Conquer driving video featuring you in it. You know, that was a great call to do that collab, it sounds like. Yeah, it's something I think about. I want to do a few more collaboration videos, just for like, I think it might be like a fun breakup of a workday, really. But I want to do a few more, and you know, hopefully there's some promotional benefits in the long run there. But I want to make a few more videos like that. I have to make sure this is the right size. It's probably the right size. So I want to make a few more videos of that nature, and yeah, I think that might be way more fun in like, I don't know, like say an example I had is like, what if I did a collab with a, you know, US versus UK channel? That might be more interesting, you know, like pick a weird space like that. But yeah, I kind of like the idea of going that way. Also, properties have also tripled in value over that same time scale. Yeah, so properties are properties are the one example where you can say the world has shitified, right? I don't care where you are in the world, unless you're in a dying village where your village has gone disastrously worse. Like, even if you're in a bad part of the city, your house has probably gone up like 4 times. I read someone on Reddit being like, yeah, it went, you know, roughly when I was born. They're like, oh yeah, I went to go buy a flat for 40K. I didn't have any money to put down, so they just made up some figures about my deposit. I didn't have enough of an income, but they loaned them the full 40K to buy a flat, and the flat's worth like $1 million now. I'm like, man, there are so many cases of this where you can just right place, right time equals money, and therefore I think housing has actively gone worse. You are very valid to complain about housing, right? And I think that therefore people can be much worse off. Even if we can buy more hot tubs for our money, even if we can buy more cars for our money, or at least better car for your money now, the fact that you can get less house, and a house is one of those things where you have it or you don't. You have a good enough one or you don't. You feel good about it or not. I think that's why, you know, no amount of cheaper hair straighteners or, you know, cat beds or whatever will make that better. Okay, so I'm going to go dig out some more dirt. Or do I need to? Yeah, I'll bring some water with me too. I've already got some. Great. I kind of want to stay in these chunks here where this stuff is happening, but we'll see if that actually sticks. I remember when you were speeding in a video and I checked the comments and I was like, why is there nobody saying that that's the toy boy? I was speeding in a video? Why was I speeding in a video? To get $60, that's 2 months of savings for me. Yeah, video games cost so much for most people. And I think it's a holdover from when video games were basically for rich nerds. Like, you know, this is my hot take. Okay, I want to talk about Microsoft raising their prices. They were the first ones to come out and say, yeah, we think that games are too cheap right now. Get all our new games from now onwards are going to cost $80. Is it 80? Yeah, 80 US. Which might be a response basically to the dollar weakening internationally. But, you know, or you could be cynical and say it's a way to make profit because they don't have enough right now. You didn't know how speed limits worked, apparently. I didn't know how speed limits worked. Is that like my first ever video of me driving in Canada? Where I didn't know how speed limits worked? It is funny to think that there probably is, you know, like multiple clips of me breaking some law out there. Real, because why does a game cost me a month of petrol, says Caitlin. Yeah, I think, so video games used to cost $90 back in the 80s. Because if you owned a computer capable of playing a video game, you had $90 to buy a good one, right? Like it was basically a low. I think video games are actually a great example of how economics work. Like video games cost a fixed amount to produce, and then you just have to try and recoup that money by selling the right amount of stuff. So it used to be that they'd expect to sell, say, 10,000 copies of a game, $90 each. If you did that, you'd make $900,000. That's enough to pay like free programmers, you know, $300,000 each for a couple years of work or a year of work. It's like, wow, that's a lot of money. But then like instead of selling for $90, eventually video games went down to like $70, $60. With the logic being, if we go at a lower price, we'll sell to more people. And it actually works, right? Like I think there are lots of people who would buy a game at 60 who wouldn't at 120. Like Call of Duty sells millions of copies a year. They would sell fewer copies. They would make less overall money if they charged twice as much. You were like, oh, I can't be driving 30 in the 20 zone because there was a 30 limit like a mile up ahead. What video are you talking about, Adam38 Aubrey? Are we in an alternate reality? Yeah, oh wait, no. Oh, the Portland video. Is that the one where I didn't stop at a stop sign? Which I would like to still defend, by the way, chat. I'm gonna... Just in case you think I've said something reasonable in the last 2.5 hours, I want to reassert the fact that I'm not with my most insane but true take. Also, I do have a video today. I do have a video. Good news. Yeah, I got good news for you. One sec. Okay, oh no, chat, something didn't upload correctly. Okay, sorry. Okay, fixed it. This was years ago, I don't remember much, but I remember how funny that part was. Okay, chat. So, I want to make sure, if anyone thinks that I have any valid points, I think it's the Conquer driving video. He had to tell you the speed limit doesn't come into effect until after the sign, not when you can see the sign. Oh, yeah, okay, so, just to be clear on that one, though, right? Okay, so I'm going to first of all defend why... Stop signs, right? One of the most important things about stop signs is you have to stop when you see a stop sign. Except actually, because everyone else stops at stop signs. As long as you're the only person running a stop sign, it's actually entirely fine. Because it's only when multiple people run the stop sign at the same time that you can hit each other. Because if you're stopped and you've got the right vision, as you should when you're stopped, if it's not like a blind bend, you should see if someone's speeding and not about to stop. So, therefore, you don't need to stop at stop signs. Everyone else does. There's my most chaotic take. I do stop at stop. By the way, we don't do stop signs in the UK. We have like 10 of them in the country or something. And like they're all at places where you would stop anyway. Whereas stop signs in America are, you know, it's the, you know, what's, if you know what it's like on a plane. There's signs telling you can't smoke there. And it's like, I wouldn't assume I could smoke on a plane. I actively would assume I would be doing, like, you know I can't be smoking on a plane without the sign. Whereas there are signs on a plane saying you can't congregate near the bathrooms. On flights to America, at least, you can't. It's the weirdest federal rule. You can't congregate near the bathrooms. And it's like, I could see myself not realizing that was a, I could see that being a, I see what, you have to tell people that one because people won't assume that it's true. Stop signs in America are the second one. You take a really wide open junction where you can see massive distance both sides, where you could roll your way through it. And it's like, no. Go down to 0, make sure you hurt the environment as much as possible, and then come back up again for full speed. Every time Slickhead sees a stop sign, don't stop me now, starts playing. Yeah, stopping at stop signs is entirely overrated. It may be even dangerous, you could say. I'll make that argument. I'll do it, if no one else will. So I'm going to put my ink sacks away, because these are definitely not necessary. And then look how many wheat I've got. I'm going to definitely just hay bale some up. That's my next 2 sorted. And then maybe it's time to... We could either start making bread now, chat. But I've got enough raw meat. I think we can start making mud. Should we make a stack of mud? Let's wait till we have a stack of wheat, and then we'll make a stack of mud. Stack of mud bricks will be nice. And then we can start building our house. Yeah, that'll be nice. Rolling stops are the norm in the US. Yeah, ignoring the environmental effect, right? Let's say I don't care about the environment. I think it's probably like top 5, top 10 on the list of worldwide priorities. But let's just say I don't care in the slightest. I think that the environment is a hoax. You know, there's a non-zero chance it is. It's a very, very close to 0 chance. It's closer to 0. It's closer to 0 than the chance of me being right on on this stop sign theory. That's for sure. Anyway, planes have ashtrays to put out cigarettes, but you're not supposed to smoke. Oh, you know what? Do you want to? You know, Aubrey, I'm gonna make the guess that you haven't been on a plane in a while, or that you've seen that on the internet. Planes don't actually have ashtrays. Only really old ones do. I've seen an ashtray on a plane like twice now, but it's the exception, not the norm, and it's because they were really old planes. Like they don't put ashtrays on planes anymore. I think that's one of those like great science miscommunications. Like I've seen a lot of YouTube videos that claim like, oh, they put them on planes just in case you smoke, and it's like, no, they're on planes from when it was okay to smoke. I have not seen one on a plane in a very long time. Also, there was a witch over here. I wanted to kill her. What's even the point? Hey, there's the witch. Okay, so I've got an infinity bow. Perfect for exactly this right here. Hey, what do we get, chat? What do we get? Oh, glowstone! Nice! So, I do want the redstone too, don't get me wrong. I think I want it... Okay, I'll let the creeper just keep bouncing around. I'll drop the gunpowder. Pick up the redstone. And then the glowstone can go in my cool stuff bundle. There's nothing you can do with 2 glowstone, right? I don't think there's anything you can do with it. So let's just put it in. And now we could theoretically make some redstone torches. You know, let's do it. Just as something to have. Let's put a redstone torch there and a redstone torch there. Just to make my base look a little bit cooler, right? Also, good to see you, Jira. Thank you for the peach. What? Please tell me what topic he's on. I'm lost. Okay, so topics. I said I would start this topic a while ago, and then I didn't. Cars, planes, and stop signs. So yeah, I had an interesting week this last week, chat. I've been working way more hours. I track how many hours I work a day. I've been working way more hours this last week because both of my editors are going on a holiday together. This is why you shouldn't hire people who know each other. Yeah, both my editors are going on a holiday together. I'm very loose and okay with that, right? Like if they would enjoy more being on a holiday together, then I'm not going to be like, no, one of you has to provide cover for the other. So as a result, the plan was make as much of this week's content ahead of time, kind of like I would do if I was on a trip, right? And so I've like been like stressing myself to make sure I hit the deadline, etc., etc. And so I've been working way more hours each day. I've been like working till 11 a lot of days and stuff like that. But so it's been like a stressful week. But I think looking at it now, I don't think I achieved more than I would have if I was not stressed. I think I might have arguably achieved slightly less, but I think if we're being realistic, I achieved about the same. So I don't have all of next week's videos ready. I have 2 videos, one of which is going up today. Oh no, I guess, yeah, so one video is going up tomorrow, one video is going up on like Friday. And then I'm just relying on there being a good enough snapshot or beta for a video, and then Q&A Saturday, and then like, because like, those are easy enough to like, you know, edit myself or whatever. To be fair, they didn't know each other when hired. Also, I found Rib. Didn't think I would have. Now I've got to get tired, and I'll have them all. Congratulations, Pearl Girl. I'm happy for you. Okay, so I think we can put the gunpowder in here. No, I'm never going to need the gunpowder, right? It has 0 value. Let's leave that on the ground. I'm going to put the pale door down over there. Hope that zombies don't burst it down for some reason. I'm going to pick up these carrots, actually, too. If they've grown, then I definitely want them. Yeah, perfect. And then let's get back to this. Also, yeah, Pelgal, how much disposable income do you have? And also, what's your address? Do you know, it's interesting. I feel like No, you know what? I'm not making my comment. I actually feel like usually people who tip more often, it's rare. I think like Darren Hughes is like the rare exception of someone who tips a lot and high. I think usually like the wealthier chatters, if you're gonna, if we measure wealth solely by how much money you give to Toy Cat, side note, you know, we should do that. If you know, like treat giving to me as a flex. That's my goal. But if we do make that assumption, also I'll go fishing in my lovely body of water here. Yeah, usually like the big rollers come in, drop $20, continue watching the stream. Whereas there are a few people, not that I'm calling out poker, but I think if you see someone tip a lot, it's actually usually that they're tipping like, you know, like a tenth as much 5 times. Whereas getting one tip that's 10 times bigger once is big. Hey, ooh, look what I got. Yeah. I don't know, like, you know, that's the interesting thing about money being a love language, right? Like, that's the interesting thing about, like, what actually matters more, chat. It's the same with anything else. Like imagine if your love language is an act of service, you love someone doing the dishes and stuff like that. Does someone love you more if they clean the dishes or does someone love you more if they clean your entire house than if they clean your room, right? Is that a bigger act of love, a bigger act of service? You know, if physical touch is your love language, does someone love you? I'm not gonna make that comment or joke. But like you know, there is a real... Hey, Wandering Trader! Thank God, I've been needing you so bad. Please buy hay bales, first of all. Oh my God, milk buckets. Oh, he has a sapling! No, chat! My nightmare has come true. It's not an oak sapling, which is what I really need. Should I buy melon seeds from him? I could get some decent food that way. No, I could get some terrible food that way. I think I'm better off with raw beef than melon. Sand is really unique. It means I could later get cactuses, and then I could use the cactuses for cactus flowers. I think that's thinking a bit too far in advance. Stop asking me for baked potatoes. I can't do anything about that for you. I think I should sell him the milk bucket, chat. Because then the next guy might... I think I should sell him my bucket. I lose a lot of flexibility if I sell him my bucket. I think it is still worth selling him my bucket. I think I've got to do it. Get pink dye. I'm not going to get pink dye. Okay, so let's kill the llamas first of all. Make life easier for myself. Just by a little bit. Oh wait, we can use the llamas to attack him, right? If he gets attacked by the llama, he'll drink an invisibility potion. I think someone said. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess I want to trade my milk bucket with him first. So that's 10. So I know he's got 10 on him now. I think we sell the bucket, chat. I think we sell the bucket, knowing that we can get another bucket in the future. Oh no, it's one. Deflect this, spit at him. I think we don't sell the bucket till we get another one. I hate it because we went through all this work to get a Wandering Trader. A cherry sapling would change the game, but I don't get it for one milk bucket. I still need to give him hot potatoes, which I can't give him. And so, for a sapling, I would do it. But no guarantee of a sapling, I'm not doing it. Therefore, he's dying. So, attack him. You can do it, buddy. Oh, come on. Come on, you can do better than this. Go. No, yeah, there we go. There we go. Where's his milk bucket? I don't see it. Go, 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 go. Did he drop it? No, he didn't. Okay. I murdered a Wandering Trader for no reason. He was definitely drinking the milk bucket that time, but again, it's not 100% drop anymore. It's something like a quarter. I don't know why they picked that number. But okay, that's fine, chat. A part of me wants the melon seeds, Sell the bucket, sell the bucket. Bucket's free. You already have 2. The bucket was 2. Oh, don't tell me it was free, chat. I'm gonna go look back. I'm gonna go look in his trades. Was it free? No, it was 2. It was 2. The bucket was 2. I'm checking back. Go check the stream back. So the bucket gave me 2. I have 2. I have no extra sapling emeralds in here. I couldn't have bought the sapling. It would be worth trading the bucket now for a sapling. It's not worth trading the bucket now for a potential sapling. Who knows when. And yeah, it's rough, but it is how we have to live our life. Oh, if the next guy has an oak sapling, though. If it's an oak sapling, shouldn't have gotten pale moss. Yeah, no, you're right. Jonathan King. I panicked in the moment and I thought, you know what? I have so many emeralds anyway. And I do not have so many emeralds anyway. That is not a correct statement of fact. So I'm gonna grab all this moss. I'm gonna use it to make another slime chunk. Because I kind of want to like get the full use out of my water. If you know what I mean. I've got all this water anyway. Let's get some value from it. And so I'm gonna flood a chunk and I'm gonna use the pale moss blocks to do it. So I worked out that I have a chunk at minus 96. Minus 112. Wait, minus 81, minus 97. But there's also one at minus 113, minus 49. So that would be over here somewhere. Look at that, by the way. Slime chunk not actually working, but minus 113, minus 49. By the way, thank you for the tip. Appreciate it. Palgal, this one's for you. And Sony, it's my birthday money slowly going away. Giving so much to my husband. I think I'm up to $170-ish. Yeah, I don't think he dropped it. Yeah, I think I should have traded the bucket with him. I think I should have done it, chat. It's a bit late for that opinion to come up. I'll concede. But I think I should have done it. Minus 113 to 49 and 49 is the start. So here and here. This is block 1, and it's going to go this way a bit. Except we're not digging down. We're placing blocks around it. So I'm going to go to sleep first, but I'm just going to place these so I can see them. And then tomorrow me can deal with that better. Okay, let's go to sleep. I don't know where my bed is these days. It's confusingly over there. Oh, there's a zombie with a sword. We definitely want to drown him. Okay, chat, that's a high priority for me. I think having an iron sword of all things, life changer. Okay, need to get out some food. Oh, not very quick about getting the food. Okay, drown the zombie. I don't need to drown that other zombie. I'll just drown this guy. And that'll be just fine for me. So in you go, in you go. And you guys do not have to get in. Can't stress that enough. Do not even want you in. And so I could just kill these. Like, I've got 3 zombies here, right? I could just kill the 3 zombies. Yeah, maybe I should. Drag them down into a hole. Kill them there. Maybe I'll get some iron from them. Maybe I'll get a baked potato if they... No, I won't get a baked potato. You know, they need to have British English. Okay, so let's bring them down. In you come. Make a nice little dark spot. Now let's just attack them. It's a little bit old school. I haven't done this in a little bit, chat. I'll concede. But I'm going to do it right now anyway. You must really regret buying that moss now. You could have had a sapling, says Robert Mageboom. You didn't have to say it like that. You didn't have to point out the truth to me in perfect evidence. Yeah, if I had a sapling right now, I could be working on a mob grinder. I wouldn't be doing this, chat. I'd be living the good life. Man, yeah, I'd be living such a different life. Yeah, I'd be living such a different life. Let's not think about it though. You know, let's agree we don't need to think about that one. Okay. I think I might be getting feverish. I'm so hot. Congratulations. Wait, feverish being hot. Yeah, I feel like that's always a bad sign. But, oh wait, what's that? What did he drop? He dropped an iron ingot! Oh, it was so worth doing, chat. So worth it. What do I even drop in exchange? Like 17 rotten flesh. Oh, I like sticks, though. There we go. Iron ingot, chat. Oh, I love the iron ingot. 2 iron ingots now. I can make a 3rd bucket soon. So if the next guy trades buckets, I'll be in for good. I just need to kill 120 more zombies. Also, I need to kill that drowned from over there. So I think that'll be my next target. There's enough skeletons here. And I'm just going to go to sleep. Oh, God, he broke something. Okay, I'm going to go to sleep in this corner here. Please don't fire at me. Please don't fire at me. Please don't fire at me. He's going to fire. He missed, thank God. Okay, now he can burn. And I'm going to go kill the drowns first. Actually, I'll kill you. You might drop an ingot. They've never dropped an ingot while they're burning. I don't know if that's, like, hard-coded or if it's just weird coincidence. But look at that. No, not even rotten flesh that time. Look around for creepers, because you never know. Oh, he broke another piece of armor. Ouch. And that's some bones and some arrows. My arrow stack should be getting pretty decent right now, because I'm using the infinity bow. 20 arrows. For Superflat, that's good chat. And no, he's gone! Did he drop his sword at least? I guess he can't have. I guess I despawned him too soon. Oh, no. Didn't mean to say I was smoking hot, just sick. Oh, yeah, like, you know, like sick as heck. You know, you're complimenting yourself in a different way. See, isn't that the funny thing? Hot is I think it's a bad thing. I can't stress enough, chat, how bad being hot is. Like, I'm irrationally bad at life which actually was one of the reasons why I probably got less done last week. It was just so burning hot in the UK. Bro sniped you out of your bed. I know, right? But yeah, I got less done in a stressful week. This is a very chill stream, Toycat. Streams are especially nice. Toycat streams are especially nice when you're sick. And we've clarified you are sick as hell. Yeah, bone milling moss can grow azalea 7.29% of the time. Can bone milling pale moss ever give me anything, chat? Can we work that out right now? You know, actually, I've got some bones. Rather than finding out in theory, let's just find out in practice, right? So, Cat, you can make a dirt mob farm. You don't need trapdoors if you have water, lol. Yeah, I do, right? Yeah, I do. What do you mean I don't? Are you vividly remembering the wrong thing? By the way, to finish the point about the speed limit thing, I think there's one of the things that's like true about UK driving is it's like there are rules, but it's kind of about like negotiation. Like if you've ever seen people driving down like country roads where you have to reverse a bunch if you run into someone, like everyone understands pretty implicitly how those work. Also, I'm definitely not getting any saplings, chat. I hate to say it, but I think there is a real chance that I think this was one of the dumbest purchases I've made. Oh, I think I made a very poor decision. But I can get a bunch of pale moss carpets. I can bone meal my way into carpets, which I can use for something. Yeah, how can I use water to make a mob grinder? Because mobs don't spawn in water, so I can't nudge them out of the water, right? Right? Pale moss will get you grass and moss carpets. So they go into flowing water and it drifts them into a hole. But you can't get them into the flowing water, right? You can't... Because they would only walk into the flowing water if they had a trapdoor to knock them off their block. I think you're being a silly goose right now, actually. I'm sure there is some mechanic that I can use to make them walk into it, or I can trust that they'll just walk themselves into it. But otherwise, I don't know how I would. So 17 carrots, very good number. I'll deal with these crops next. Yeah, I'm loving the growth in these farms. I feel like all of the planting that I did hours and hours ago is starting to pay dividends. I'm very happy with that fact. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're good. Nice, nice. Okay, so carpets can make mobs not spawn. Yeah, I can make mobs not spawn, and I can move mobs around if they did spawn and they went somewhere specific, but I can't make them go somewhere specific. I don't have that ability without trapdoors. So 21 carrots. I think I'm paying it to the pig gods here. I think I leave 6 of these carrots behind in my inventory here. Oh, 28 carrots. So once I get to a stack of carrots and there's more grown and ready to go, I think I'm ready for lightning. I think that's how that works. So what do we do in the meantime? I think we're going to flood that chunk there. I think I'm going to get rid of this milk bucket eventually. I don't want to, but I think I'm going to. And so that's how it's going to go. Would they try to walk on carpet then fall down? No, I think if the carpet was floating, that might work. We could place like, yeah, I'm not sure how we can... You're going to be rage baiting me right now. No, I think you have made a mistake. So like, right, get this right. I can have water here. The water can move mobs away, right? But how do I get the mobs in the water? The mobs can spawn above the water, but they're not going to fall into it. The mobs can spawn here, but then the water's just pushing them. The mobs can't spawn in the water that's pushing them away. Check your Discord. Yeah, but then what? How are they going to walk in the water? I feel like there's a... Okay. So yeah, Adam Stone has shown me, Aubrey has shown a very old, you know, like the old style mob grinder. They would drop down to get you, I think, and then go in the water. So yeah, it's the very old style of mob grinder, and you can make it work, but it's not. I can't imagine it's going to be very effective, right? Maybe mobs do wander into it a lot without button rows to channel the water. No way. So I kept typing at the speed of light. You know, people always say that I type quickly, and I really have to refute that and say, I swear, it's everyone else who types slowly. It's not me who types quickly. When you know, like again, this is like an early 2000s internet thing, but it's like if you weren't typing this fast, you were just wasting everyone else's time. Okay, so we're gonna build this just to test my concept. I'm going to build this so that I can have all of the flow, because the water starts like here, and then it flows downwards, and we should make sure it's all properly covered in. So it went over the edge there, which is bad. Don't want that. And it didn't go further this way, which is just confusing. And so the idea is we're going to have a big water flow, which means it has to go 8 blocks in from here. So, or does it go 8 blocks in from here? I guess it does. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then it also has to go 8 blocks in from here. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this is one of the corners. And then we'll work out the other corner from the other side and fill it in from there. So if we put water on this side, which we'll just do right now to be easy. We have the water for it. Chat, what I'm doing right now makes a lot of sense. The person in that did it the old way, but if the water level's at the same height, the ground with a 1 block barrier to keep it straight, they'll... See, set? No, I don't get it. I feel like explaining farms via live stream chats is one of the easiest way to break people. I think, like, some things are really easily explainable via text, like, why should you stop at stop signs? Or rather, why you shouldn't stop at stop signs. We're being real. Okay, so let's put some water here. Okay, so it's going to go off the edge. We can fix that. And then we just make sure that this is 8 blocks in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if this is 8 blocks in and that's 8 blocks in, we just go around until they match over here. And now we've designed ourselves the base of a mob farm, chat. So I've messed up a lot of water. I mean, a lot of carpets. But that's okay. We don't need these carpets anymore. There we go. Problem solved. And I've got some carpets back. 2 for 1. Now I just have to fill in all these gaps here. obviously. And then I need to build something that actually puts the mobs onto these platforms. So I'm thinking, if we're thinking the way that, again, literally the exact same logic that you're using, is that if I have a platform here, the mobs might walk off the platform into this. Throwback to chat trying to fix the previous Superflat iron farm. Oh yeah, I think people trying to explain mob farms in text, literally I'm just not going to do it anymore. I think I'm like that level of scarred. It's like, nope. There is no way anyone wants to do this in earnest. There is no good faith way to describe Minecraft farm mechanics in text. Let alone live stream chat text. You know, because okay, so I want to finish my earlier point. I want to make a hot take here, chat. I think that social media becoming you know, like an unhealthy thing is not just bad for the people using it, but it's bad for the people who are using it who wish not to become unhealthy, right? So hear me out here. I think if you go on like Reddit or Twitter or the YouTube comment section right now, you will find legitimately not like, I don't want to use mentally ill as like you know, like an insult or anything like that. I want to be very clear that it's like a very serious societal problem, gotta solve it, all that stuff. Okay, but what I do want to be clear about is that you're like I saw someone basically, you know, like maybe they were high, maybe they were a child, maybe they were having some mental delusion, but I saw some of that in chat pre-stream. And if you go on Reddit, you'll see like, oh yeah, someone being like, so here is my situation. I am looking to, someone really insulted me, and I would like to know what my legal recourse is for solving this. I feel like there's so much just like, this is just a crazy person on the internet now, in a way that maybe I'm just, you know, I'm hearkening back to a world where we could all put on our best selves and at least pretend that we weren't crazy on the internet. Too many cooks in the kitchen, spoil the toy cat or something. Exactly, Chilius Bean. You don't want to spoil the toy cat. You definitely don't want to spoil the toy cat. So, do I want to kill the zombie? I guess I'll kill the zombie. I'll punch him a few times, and then I'll use my bow. It's not actually worth it to use a bow to kill zombies if I have so few hits in this. It's a shame you can't have infinity and unbreaking, or infinity and mending. Free arrows. It's never going to be worth it. It just never is. Also, wow, we got an arrow over there. Let's go get it. Nice. Add that one to the pile. So yeah, my big objectives every day are harvesting, and my big longer term objectives, besides my house build, are on the Wandering Trader. And I'm hoping I get the Wandering Trader one more time today, chat. That's my big hopes and dreams from this stream. That's a creeper. Those are my big hopes and dreams. I hope they come true. Definitely don't like that there was a creeper just behind me right there. That could have been a funny end to the stream. You know, like the worst type of funny. The type of funny where I don't get to laugh. But yeah, I'm thinking we're going to continue placing more dirt up here. And we're going to maybe like put some dirt. We're going to maybe like water this up just for the fun of it. I think I want to water that chunk over there some more, and I want to water this chunk. Drown him and make him grab something. Drown the creeper and make him grab something. That seems unethical. Okay, so plant 2 more carrots. Then let's be real. We're going to turn this into stuff later. Turn it into stuff now. Turn this into stuff too. This corner probably needs some water in it, actually. So take a block over here. Turn it into water. Hydrate some more farmland. Grab some more water. And then, yeah, I think this is, I'm just going to elevate it for no good reason. And then I'm going to cover it in water. And I'm going to try and stop the water from falling off the edge via something. I don't know what the something is yet. It's all going to make sense later, chat. I suggest using llamas to force him to use milk buckets. Yeah, that did work better than using zombies somehow. I don't understand how, but it did clearly work better. I'll concede. So let's just destroy this chunk some more. I need the dirt anyway. Oh, that's water. I need the dirt anyway, so let's do the digging. But yeah, also good point, Dazed. Armor up, toy cat. Oh yeah, I'm missing some legs. Thank you. Dazed and Confused, happy birthday, by the way. How are you doing on this wonderful, wonderful evening? But yeah, chat, actually, you know, if you're here anyway, so I feel like I have, like, you know, it's like a good problem to solve. It's something interesting, actually, about making a big purchase. I think your brain psychologically, you know, it's hard to part with a decent amount of money in exchange for a vehicle without, like, I have to be sure that it's a right call, right? Like, there's a reason I didn't just roll the dice on the guy in the car park. Like, statistically speaking, even if he's dodgy, the car is still fine, right? Like, I want to point this out right now. But, like, as I told my dodgy story, I think that if I buy meat from a dodgy guy on the street, it's probably, like, I think that even when someone is dodgy, all it does is increases your chance of risk. But most people don't understand risk as being, like, percentage-based. I feel like most people get risk as being it's either risky or it's not. You're either unsafe or you're not, but you're unsafe all the time. You could buy a car from a reputable dealer and something bad could happen, but it's so unlikely to happen, and you have recourse if it does, which is the more crucial bit for me. By the way, I have water here that I should be picking up, so let's do precisely that, I guess. Also, yeah, a long tunnel with 2 deep holes next to it gives a very rudimentary mob farm. Yeah, I'm going for a similar vibe to that. You know, maybe you can tell me if you think I've got a similar vibe. Okay, so here is my idea for the mob farm. Here's my idea. Again, later I can refine this much better. But so I'm gonna go put my water down just on the way over there. So actually, let's get some armor first. Let's get some leggings on. I don't care what leggings I use. These leggings are great. Are they better than the gold leggings before them? Not actually sure. I bought a car from a dodgy guy in 2021. It's still running great. Saved a lot of money. Exactly, Ned Oren. Yeah, I think that is one of the most important things to understand about dodginess. But I think the reason a lot of people don't like dodginess and therefore would dislike the vibes of that is because, like, it's a risk aversion, right? We feel much worse about something, you know, like something going wrong and something going good. Losing £5,000 and gaining £5,000 don't feel the same. We feel so much worse when we lose money than when we gain. And so spending more money to avoid a chance of something bad happening, depending on the risk levels, doesn't make sense financially, but makes a lot of sense emotionally. Okay, so we fill all of this in with water, right? Just imagine that we do. Then eventually the water will all flow into the center, if I've done the maths here correctly, which is a 4x4 hole. And then in the middle of that center, later we can put something in. For now, we could just have a drop or something like that. But yeah, we can flow all of our mobs into the same place. Or we could use the kind of old school things. Also, one of your long-term goals could be making map art. I'm pretty sure it's possible. Yeah, if I could get sugarcane. I definitely had sugarcane last time, so it must be possible here. That would be great. I definitely want to use one of the walls of the world to make a big sugarcane farm. It's a big, big vision. So yeah, I'm going to make sure that this does actually flow into the right place. So definitely need this water to be closer, but it's fine. So if we put water like here, next to that, and then we can put water... Again, this is eventually going to cause us issues. So let's just patch this up. Make a new staircase. Over here, maybe. Okay, just block there, block there. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now we can place another one over here. Grab this, put it there, grab this, put it there, and so on and so forth until eventually we overflow the side. Don't want to overflow the side, but I just want to make sure that we are eventually reaching that center point, because if we're not reaching that center point, then we have done something wrong. I think I am doing something wrong with how I'm placing this water. It's okay, I sent you a demo. I'll have to check it out. Maybe it is actually a better idea for where I am. Obviously, right now, I'm not going to be watching a demo, but I like your vibe. I appreciate it. Okay. I appreciate your toy jack, too. That was a very good addition to the map art thing. Okay. Either way, the car still had a finance lien on it. Yeah, that's an interesting point. We don't call them liens in the UK. I think there are so many financial instruments in America where I'm like, I see why you had to create those. It's cool that those exist. But also, I've never had to deal with those in the UK. Like, yeah, I think you can build a high trust society out of a low trust society by having, you know, like you know, like I was saying, like the reason I was willing to buy this car that was dodgy and had all these things on it was because I was I was buying it, you know, like I would be willing to buy that if there is, you know, recourse if something goes wrong. If I know that I am going to be good, even if something goes wrong, I'm willing to make the transaction anyway. You know, in other words, like, I was willing to trust this guy if I didn't have to trust this guy. If it wasn't down to me trusting him, if trusting him was like, if he knew that I didn't need to trust him, I would be able to trust him more. Whereas if the only, you know, if the things going well or poorly in the car entirely are just down to whether he feels like dealing with it or not, or whether I can go through the really lengthy legal system, it's kind of hard. You could argue, like, you know, it's one of the most interesting arguments for. Also, we're gonna get rid of this wall here, and the dirt back there. I'm gonna make it a little bit harder than this, but I think this is inside of the mob spawning chunk, and so needs to go. And I'll leave it out there a little bit, but not that much. Also, yeah, I want to say, also, how is he getting magma, Daryl? Yeah, I've got it's funny how many people have ideas where they're like, yeah, obviously you're playing Minecraft, so just get the normal Minecraft block. And it's like, I'm sorry I can't get the normal Minecraft block, because this isn't a normal Minecraft world. In fact, I think the reason a lot of you are watching this is specifically because it's not a normal Minecraft world. But it's easy to forget that when you're thinking about a fun contraption. So 3 slime blocks, that will help with my thing that's happening over there. And we're going to do another wait until skeletons spawn, just to hope for the best. Whew. Did anyone toy cat that he can naturally spawn drowns if the pool is big enough? No. No one's told me that because it would be a lie if they did. If people lied to me like that, I think I would be very hurt. I could take, wait, actually, I could take this pool here. I could make this thing here into a really big pool. I actually kind of like that idea. Let's build big walls around that chunk there and just make a big pool. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So actually, since I'm kind of waiting around anyway, let's go put these slime blocks in their respective slots. 1, 2, 3. Slowly but surely, we're building something beautiful in there. And then we'll get back to destroying the chunk. I'm praying for a wandering trader tomorrow, chat. Appreciate the love that Toy Jack got. I sold my car in 2022 and still get the new driver's parking tickets to this day. Frick owning cars. Nothing but trouble, to be honest. Isn't it bad for both of you if you get his parking tickets? Okay, so we got 3 skeletons over there. Is that as good as we're getting? I mean, is the witch more important than the skeletons? I would argue it is. Oh, I missed him. Her. Them. So she drinks a potion, but she doesn't come any closer. Okay, she is now. That's what I'm talking about. So as long as she doesn't throw a potion over that wall at me, I'm going to be good. Okay, so there was a skeleton that just despawned. There's a skeleton. Okay. So I hear a witch. Okay, there's the witch. Thankfully. Oh, what's happening? She poisoned herself. Okay, so there's a skeleton here. He's going to be very hard to do anything else with besides shoot with a bow. It's worth it. It's worth it to use an infinity bow to get actual arrows. And then we'll kill the witch, assuming she hasn't killed herself. Now. Oh, okay. Oh, a healing potion! And sugar. That's a really interesting one. I don't know what to do with sugar, chat. I think there's literally no value to me in it. But a healing potion? That could save my life one day. One day soon, if we're being honest. So, carrots. Love me some carrots. I could plant some there, but I shan't. I could plant some here. And you know what? I might just. Yeah, let's just plant an extra row of carrots there. Let's just do it. I know I feel a little bit silly doing this. I've got a lot of carrots. I'm getting ready for that lightning storm. It's getting closer, but it's just not quite here. Anyway, chat. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun today. I've enjoyed it immensely. I hope that this was a good substitute for the Let's Play. I know that the overlap between Let's Play viewers and live stream viewers is the highest. And so I hope that you enjoyed this. Sugar equals weakness potion says hello. But what am I going to do with this? How am I going to brew a weakness potion? And if I could get one, well, I mean, actually, I could make fermented spider eyes. If I could just, you know, anyway, you see how this will become an endless issue now. Anyway, I've got everything in order for the perfect wandering trader, but the perfect wandering trader won't come, and I've really messed up by buying pale oak. So I mean pale moss. So I need to really get my money's worth on this pale moss by bone milling it a bunch and using the moss to do something cool. I just don't know what the something cool is. I kind of like this, you know, actually, am I outroing you and then immediately doing something? I like the idea of digging out a big pool over there, just to confirm people's theories about drowns aren't correct. But I like the idea of doing it. And I hope that you had a great time today. It's a super long one, but hopefully a fun one. We are halfway through the journey to 100 days. It'll be my first time surviving... I mean, semi-hardcore. It'll be my first time making it if we do. And this has been one of my... I think this is my favorite hardcore world yet. Things have been going pretty well so far, but we're still on that cusp. We just need the right Wandering Trader. And so tomorrow, maybe we'll get one. Also, does this stream have a thumbnail now? Oh, it does. So that, yeah, I didn't make the thumbnail anymore. Thank you for watching today, chat. If you liked the stream, like it. Tomorrow there will be a video, and today I think we just released one. Okay, so did the video just go up? It did. It's 10 out of 10, chat. You know what that means? Weirdly bad. Actually, you know, every now I focus on in the real world, and I'm like, yeah, video's 1 out of 10. And they're like, oh, is that bad? And I'm like, oh no, it's the best. And you say 10 out of 10, they're like, wow, congrats. And you're like, no. It means I've done a terrible job. It means that the YouTube algorithm hates me, and so too do my subscribers. So I hope you all enjoyed today's stream. The next one is going to be a really promising one. And it will likely be on Wednesday. But Snapshot Beta's update tomorrow might mess that all up. For now, thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And next time we stream, we might be getting some piglins. I mean, actually, wait. If we're getting piglins, I need to immediately just breed as many of these as I can, right? There's no point holding on to carrots if there's maybe lightning coming. So that's what we're doing immediately when we start next time. Thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you around. Goodbye. Oh, that's weird, huh? Wait, was that lightning? No, that's the pig noise. Thank you. And I'll see you next time. Yeah, lightning could be imminent. It really could be. Let's hope that